profiling a worry, a concern about the Panthers defense. I can't look at the depth chart or the projected starting lineup and find a single starter on defense that I think the Panthers could survive an injury to. And you know it's gonna happen somewhere.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Why world-class? Because it has a crisp and superior taste. That's world-class. It has only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. That's very world-class. So, if I'm seen drinking it, by association, am I world-class? Oh yeah, Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
At Smith Douglas Homes, we're proud to support our hometown heroes, teachers, healthcare workers, firefighters, and military. As a thank you, receive a $2,500 credit towards your new home purchase. Explore SmithDouglas.com. Smith Douglas, where it's your home, your choice, within reach.
Eat up, buddy. It's almost time for school.
You take charge of your home. You take charge of your work. Don't forget to take charge of your gut health too with Nature Made probiotics. Nature Made has clinically studied probiotics that work with your digestive tract's natural bacteria, so you won't miss a beat in your daily routine. Find us in the vitamin aisle. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
And we are back talking all things connectivity with Spectrum customers Kev and Melissa. So tell us, how long have you been with Spectrum and how important is a reliable internet connection?
We've been Spectrum customers since we moved 12 years ago. The first thing we did is sign up for Spectrum Internet.
You get a lease, you get it Wi-Fi.
Yes,
immediately.
We need that. We had Spectrum Wi-Fi before our couch got here.
That's true. That's a true story.
I'll sleep on the floor, but I won't go to bed with no internet.
You heard it here. Switch to Spectrum now.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
Get in the hole!
That's RitchieLaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Another round of storms as we get through the afternoon. Some of this rain definitely heavy at times, and in some places we'll see some isolated flooding. High around 85. Rain diminishes tonight with a low of 73, but we'll see another round again tomorrow with a high of 87.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Your Dow Jones is up 442 points to 44,417.
Bryce in the pocket, steps up, eludes the rush, throws, end zone, caught, Adam Thielen, touchdown!
He'll toss it that way to Hampton, and he is in. Touchdown, Carolina.
Bailey, shotgun, snap left hashes, QB keeper, dives forward, touchdown. Bailey is third of the night.
Cooper faces up with 5 and 4, drives Davis, spins, waiting, fades away, and hits!
Game over! Series over! Sebastian!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan on a Tuesday. I'm Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox back producing the show with us. I haven't had him on the show since Thursday, and we have a lot to get to. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Big Three at 3.
Number 1.
State is quiet and Duke is boring. That's my take on preseason in college football for 2 of the teams here in the Triangle. And by the way, that's not a bad thing. I'm going to take you through a kind of the start of a few conversations, probably a few conversations a week with my mom. Call her on the phone. Hey, how's it going? She asked me anything new, and I, not really. And then she hits me with this one. Well, I guess no news is good news. I think that's how we treat State and Duke right now. And it might just be relative. Like, they seem quiet and boring compared to UNC, who hired Bill Belichick and has all this crazy stuff going on in a quarterback competition. And Tony La Russa was at practice today, and they've just got all this stuff. There's a long article on ESPN.com right now from David Hale about what it's like to play for Belichick. And then you think of the other teams in the triangle, and you go, all right, well, what's going on there? And for State, it's quiet. That's not to say they don't have interesting things going on, right? They have a bunch of position battles, right? Going back to our conversation with Dave Doran, the head coach at ACC Kickoff, I said, which position battle are you looking forward to most? He basically said the defense. So they've got a lot of decisions to make, but they're operating in a different way, right? They're kind of going to work and internally handling things, and it's not about the spectacle, which I think is a direct, I don't know if correction is the right word, but it's definitely a response from their last offseason when they were in everybody's crosshairs as far as hype and media because of all the transfers they took in. So now this year, maybe let's be a little quieter. And then Duke is boring, right? The boringness of having kind of everything settled so early in the offseason is you're predictable. Well, who's going to be your best corners? Well, how about the ones that pretty much played last year? Who's going to be your best players? How about the ones that are All-Americans? Who's going to be your quarterback? How about the one we paid $3 million earlier this offseason? Or at least the NIL, whoever did. I mean, that was the big splash. They brought Darian Mensah in really early on in the transfer portal kind of carousel, and since then it's been just business as usual. Right? We were talking about this kind of conversation earlier today, planning the show, and Dennis said, I think they have a kind of formal, good-on-good scrimmage coming up here in the next few days about Duke.
I think it's Friday.
And I went, I know how it's going to go. Right? I do. Darian Mensah is going to execute the offense in a way that Manny Diaz asks him to, and the defense is going to be solid, and the offensive line is going to be pretty solid, and there's just going to be a lot of solid because Duke is boring. Again, not a bad thing. No news is good news at this time of year, especially if you're returning quite a bit of talent like Duke is. And no drama might be good for a team like NC State. After last year, the drama may have run away with them a little bit. We'll dive more into this phenomena of quiet and boring and no drama for college football preseason in about 10 minutes, so stick around for more of that. Right now, we're in a college basketball offseason, which means it's time for number two.
Number two.
Hubert Davis. Hubert Davis gave what I would say is like an all-time quote, if it's not almost identical to one he gave before. So Brett Friedlander, hat tip to him. Hoops HQ is where I first saw the quote. Hubert Davis, head coach, UNC men's basketball, talking about the roster. It starts with some talk about the perceived starters, Seth Trimble, blah, blah, blah. And then it gets to a couple of the young freshmen, highly rated freshmen, Derek Dixon and Isaiah Dennis, and how they're impressing during UNC's summer workouts. And here's the quote from Hubert Davis. You can see it in the way they compete and play. It wouldn't surprise me that by the time they leave Carolina, it wouldn't surprise me to see both of their jersey numbers up in the rafters. That's some high praise right there. That's some hype building sentiment right there. Now, again, I said it's very similar to what he said before. Back in 2023, he said this about two incoming freshmen. By the time that they leave Carolina, they're going to be two of the best players ever to play in Carolina history. I really believe that. Now you may be saying like, oh, that's R.J. Davis and Armando Bacot. Well, I don't know why he would be doing that. They showed up before he was head coach. No, that was about DeMarco Dunn and Dontrez Styles. No offense to those guys, both obviously talented players, very good basketball players. Didn't turn out that way. Dontrez Styles finished his career playing for NC State. That says how well that went.
Yeah, went to Georgetown before that.
So I guess that this is Hubert Davis saying it wasn't the process that did it wrong. It wasn't what we did. It wasn't how we treated them. Because you would think, I made this gigantic promise about how good they're going to be. It didn't work out. Maybe for the next group or the next couple of groups or maybe forever. I wouldn't make that kind of promise again. But no, he's coming back with it for 2 new freshmen. Jersey in the rafters. And by the way, UNC doesn't he doesn't get to make those choices. There are criteria for getting your number up in the rafters. It's not just he can't make this true. They have to go out and earn it. They got to be MOP at the Final Four or wooden players. There are legitimate criteria for getting your number in the rafters.
Yeah, you might get your number in the rafters. Maybe not retired. Like RJ Davis was ACC Player of the Year. Your number's going to go up in the rafters. So I mean, it's a very, very high bar. Very high bar.
Now, that is from Hubert Davis. I've been trying to work in the pun somehow where I don't call him Hubert Davis, I call him Hubris Davis, but I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah,
but it's in there somewhere. Hubert, it's in there somewhere when you're saying freshmen who have yet to play a single game are going to have their jerseys in the rafters at a school like UNC. If a 5-star commits to Fairleigh Dickinson, they can be pretty confident there, right? But UNC, it's not easy. That's a lot of pressure to heap on some guys. A lot of pressure, especially coming back from the season they had last year, which, I'm not breaking news here, not up to UNC standards. Everybody on that team has plenty of pressure already. I'm not sure that they needed just is it now a disappointment if they don't? What if they're just role players on a national championship team? What if they're just, starters for 2 or 3 years at North Carolina? Doesn't get your number in the rafters, but it should be a sign of success. What if they're just really good this year and get drafted in the lottery? That's good for North Carolina recruiting right there. That's number 2. Let's keep it rolling to number 3.
Number 3.
USA Today put out their win-loss projections, their record projections for every team in the NFL. And the NFC is interesting, specifically the NFC South. Yes, that is just so happens to be where the Carolina Panthers are. I'll give it to you top to bottom, 1st through 4th. Tampa Bay projected to win the division. Record 9-8. So already they're saying division not great.
That also tracks.
And if history would prove itself true. Panthers 2nd, 8-9, 1 game out of a tie for the division. Now we'd have to know their division record and everything to know how that would end up going head to head and all that, but 8-9 for the Panthers is their pick and a 2nd in the division. That means you're playing meaningful football all the way up till the last game of the year.
Which isn't a bad thing.
That's great. Falcons 3rd, 7-10. Saints finished dead last, 2-15. That is even as it's somebody that's covered a very bad team the last few years, covering the Panthers, projecting at the beginning of the year 2-15 before you know they get hit by injuries and bad beats. That's a little bit mean from USA Today.
By the way, the Panthers and Buccaneers, they play each other the very last week of the season. That very well could be deciding factor for the division.
There's 3 division games in the last 4 for the Panthers, and they have a bye week the 5th to last week. So they'll have a late bye straight into 4 games, 3 of 4 in the division. If it's this tight, the last month will be really fun. Playoffs on the line every time they line up.
Yeah, be Saints home against the Bucs, home against the Seahawks, at the Bucs.
Now that is putting a lot of assumptions that USA Today is going to get it right. If they got it perfect, then hey, this is going to be a great season. But there's a few things to take away from this. One, That's a wide open division, right? They could be wrong in by 2 or 3 games in any direction. If it's by those 3, like Tampa, Panthers, Falcons, all being from 9-8 to 7-10, if the margin of error is enough to make it really exciting down the stretch. It's a wide open division. And then the other thing is this: for the first time in a while, I think the Panthers can disappoint people outside of like our market. There's somebody out there at USA Today that put their vote in for the Panthers to be an 8-win team. If they win 6 games, somebody that's not doesn't cover the Panthers all the time, isn't like a fan and invested there, will be disappointed in how they play. It's a luxury that only happens to teams that are semi-good. Step in the right direction. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's the big 3 at 3 to start the show. When we come back, state football has been quiet this preseason. Duke football has been boring this preseason. Is that a good thing? Stick around.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for Raleigh Weight Loss Center. If you've struggled with your weight like I have or bounced from one fad diet to the next, you need to listen to this. I can proudly say I lost nearly 20 pounds in 2 weeks thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center, and that was just the start. The program helps you reset your metabolism naturally. No steroids, no shots, no HGH, no side effects, just your body losing a half pound to a pound per day and doing it in a way where you can maintain that goal weight. It's frustrating when you feel like you're doing the right things with 0 results. Trust me, I've been there, but this is the lightest I've been in years. My clothes fit better, I have more energy when I'm active and playing sports, and I'm sleeping better. Visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com or give them a call, 919-897-7506. Again, RaleighWeightLossCenter.com, or again, give them a call, 919-897-7506. 919-897-7506. Start that weight loss journey now. Results may vary.
Did you catch Luisito's header?
Yeah, I just recorded it on my new Samsung A36 5G phone I got for free at Total Wireless.
Oh, I'm actually live streaming the whole match with my new Samsung Tab A9 that I also got free at Total Wireless.
I got that tablet too.
And I got that phone too. We both got both.
Go!
Switch to Total Wireless and get both the Samsung A36 5G and the Samsung Tab A9 for free. For a limited time while supplies last, valid in store. Requires new phone activation on the Total 5G Unlimited plan or higher external port and ID verification and new activation on the Total 5G Unlimited 6-month tablet plan. Restrictions apply.
So, you found the one and want to get married? Next step, you need the ring. And not just any ring. The perfect engagement sparkle that exemplifies your love. Bailey's Fine Jewelry is here to help. Our diamond experts, wide selection of high-quality diamonds, and financing make saying I do easy. We guarantee you'll love the ring or your money back. You're invited to see why Bailey's has been voted best place to buy your diamonds. Visit us today in-store or at baileybox.com to find out more.
2 running back set. Bailey keeps. Bailey dives to the end zone. Touchdown! NC State! And now the fireworks go off on time.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. So this time of year is a very fake hustle time of year for college football, specifically college football fans and media. And what I mean by fake hustle is goes back the term. I don't know. I'm sure other people have other meanings for it. Fake hustle for me goes back to like youth basketball. You all know this kid if you ever played basketball, especially in an organized setting with refs and stuff, where like the ball bounces out of bounds and then they dive to save it just so they can get the court burn, right? Just so they can show coach how they're willing to give their body up for the team. It's just fake hustle, right? It's like, no, there was no reason for you to do that. The ball had already bounced out of bounds, right? It was already the other team's ball, but good dive. So right now, if you have a solid, expected to be good, well-run program, it's kind of fake hustle time, right? You build up debates just to argue. You build up anger just to if this doesn't happen this year, then I don't know what I'm going to. It's like there's no reason for you to be throwing ultimatums out there. Your team is good. Even if your team isn't returning a ton of talent, if they've kind of made their moves, solved their issues, and are just moving forward trying to get better, you still want to argue and scream, and it's like, I don't know if there's any I think you can just chill. The most talked about teams are often the most hyped squads, right? Like, right now there's obviously a lot of people talking about Texas and Penn State and these teams all the way at the top. I almost would rather be a little bit more under the radar, right? I think the better bets to surprise are the ones talked about least. There's probably some, too big to fail element for like the top 5 teams in the AP top 25 preseason where they're talked about because of the talent on their roster and they actually are unbelievably talented. But once you get outside the top 25, if you're being talked about a lot, I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. Then I think you kind of want to just be, to quote Teddy Roosevelt, speaking softly and carrying a big stick, right? You want to be working on yourself and have very little drama. Like put it this way. There's an episode coming out tonight of Hard Knocks, right? The preseason docuseries from HBO about the NFL. I hope it gets better because the Buffalo Bills as a subject for the first one that came out last week, wildly boring. Do you know why they're wildly boring? Because they're a good team and a well-run organization.
Yeah, it's like, all right, cool.
Like, they showed Josh Allen being a normal guy for like 20 minutes. It was just him walking up to teammates. Hey, man, how's your offseason? Handshake. Hey, man, what's up? Handshake.
Good to see you.
It was really like there was no, didn't have the voice of God in the voiceover going like, now this team last year fell unbelievably short of expectations in this entire offseason. Everyone's been sitting on pins and needles. No, instead it was like, life is good when you have the reigning MVP. The coach's job mostly secure. Talent up and down the roster. Okay, well, like what are we doing here, right? It's you need to be, the I always say it's the best one, like the Jets with Rex Ryan, right? You need to have characters. You need to have we're starting a rookie quarterback and we don't know how it's going to go. Like that's what makes the interesting stuff in a Hard Knock situation, and the same is kind of true here. It's like, all right, let's talk Duke football. Well, their defense is headlined by a couple of Thorpe Award watch list guys in Terry Moore and Chandler Rivers, two of the better defensive backs in the country. They have a 100-tackle guy in their linebacker crew and Trey Freeman, bringing along a couple young guys next to him. It's like they've got dudes. They've got veterans, and they're kind of, they've supplemented in the portal. But it's going pretty well if we're being real. Let's talk about the offense. All right, well, they lost Malik Murphy. They needed a quarterback. Went and got one of the top guys out of the portal in Darian Mensah. We've had literal months to digest that information. We've had the questions answered, and now it's just about running the offense in a way that the defense can win the game. There you go. And I'm not saying they're the Buffalo Bills, like they, are some kind of, Super Bowl favorite. But I am saying, like, it's kind of similar. If there's a documentary, what would it be? Here's Darian Mensah learning the offense with his teammates. Seems like they like each other. Up front, he's comforted by the fact that he has an All-American tackle protecting his blind side. That's pretty good. It's not there, right? And State is a little different, right? I want to be clear. The way I'm wording this in preseason, UNC is UNC, right? They have Belichick, they have drama, they have eyeballs. State is quiet, Duke is boring. Quiet and boring are different, right? Boring is, you're just getting better every day, working, very coach speak. Like if Duke is a team where the coach speak is true. State is quiet, meaning I do think there are things happening. Right? I do think there's intrigue there. They're just choosing to sort it out and do it in a quiet way. Right? They're away from the spotlight. There isn't a ton like I'm craving to know about Duke because I kind of get it already. There is some stuff I'm craving to know about State, and they're just kind of looking out like, no, you'll figure it out when we want you to. Mm-hmm. We'll let you know when it's time. Stop looking over here.
And like you mentioned earlier, Dave Doran said to you directly, "Hey, what position battles?" The defense.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, and that's intriguing, but we're obviously not going to see that until we actually get to a game.
And by the way, there are 3 places on that defense that are kind of known: Sean Brown, Caden Fordham, and Brendan Cleveland up front. Everything else I'm intrigued by and I'd like to know, but it's almost like you can make that boring by how you treat it. Right? You can make that boring by saying absolutely the least. You can make that boring even though it's like, I don't know if we actually learned anything with that answer. It's like, well, he gave us an answer. I know I was there. I heard it. I sat there for 35 seconds. I just walked away without any more information. It is it's a different way to handle things. And by the way, it's a different way to handle things in modern college football even more, where sometimes buzz and sizzle is like currency. It's what everybody's chasing, eyeballs. It's a different beast to say, no, we're going into a submarine over here. You'll see us when we want to surface. That's how everybody used to try to treat training camp. Everybody tried to treat training camp as like, let's go into our bubble and only interact with the outside world when we have to. UNC's putting out like documentaries on YouTube. Like they're going, the bubble, it's not a bubble, it's an aquarium. Everybody's tapping the glass and watching us.
Yeah, we got the thing with Hulu coming up, whatever it is.
Yeah, there's multiple different ways they're inviting everybody in. State is doing the opposite, which is we'll see how it works out. I think it's actually ironically very like old school Bill Belichick. Right? Bill Belichick back in the day, he could be a jerk to the media because when you're winning Super Bowls, you're going to have to go figure, like the media is going to have to find out ways to tell stories about you whether they're nice to you or not. When you're bad, you kind of need the media to have your back, and that's, a different beast. With State, it's that same way. Like if you go into a bubble, you're not sizzly, nobody's talking about you, you're not craving attention, you're not building brands, you're not making your guys into stars for endorsement purposes, and you go win, well, that's great, right? Because winning solves everything. Then everybody's going to, the endorsements will follow the winning. But if you block everybody off, you don't invite the sizzle, you don't invite the spotlight, and then you don't go win, that's when the issues come out. That's when it's like, well, now players are, they're not getting, the trappings that come with winning or the trappings that come with attention, which in modern college football is spoken in dollars. And then you're making it more difficult for yourself. The same way, like when Belichick was winning Super Bowls or winning in the AFC Championship every year, he could be gruff with the media, and it didn't matter because the trappings were going to follow the winning regardless. It was once things got a little rough, and then the if you're not super open or super welcoming to the media, the stories get a little bit more aggressively downward, and the narratives get built and everything else. If you win, every strategy is great. If you're losing, there's only a couple strategies that can help you get out of that hole. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. So all of that to get back to our original hypothesis. State is quiet, Duke is boring. Interesting at this time of year in college football. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Dennis Cox has something he'd like to tell you.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Unfortunately, with this terrible, crappy weather, a bike gets parked. But I will say this, though. Make sure you take care of your bike, especially when the elements are like they are today, wet and rainy weather. Make sure if you have a garage, store it in the garage. Make sure you keep it in a cool, dry place if you can. But also, if you don't have a garage like me, make sure you have proper cover for it as well to make sure the moisture stays away, keep the rain off of your bike, because the last thing you want to do is get on a bike that might have some rust built up on the brakes or whatever it might be. That's bad for your bike. That's also bad for you when you're out there on the road. But if you're injured in a motorcycle accident, make sure you give Law Tigers a call at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. Again, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS is the number to call. Call them even before you contact your insurance company. Law Tigers, they're part of the motorcycle riding community. They know what your bike and your gear are worth and what you're going through after an accident, whereas insurance companies really just want to give you the least amount possible. Your case evaluation with Law Tigers is always free, and they don't get paid a dime until your case settles. So call 1-800-LAW Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle injury lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, gets to the Dean's List next. Who gets a little extra accolades? A few extra accolades, a little extra praise in the college sports world. Stick around.
Is your heating and air system handling the hot weather okay? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your independent trained dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Stitches, itches, aches, and pains. Strep and sinus, minor sprains. Pink eye, earaches, fever, flu. Virtual visits, physicals too. At WakeMed MyCare 365, we offer both walk-in primary care and urgent care. So find the MyCare location nearest you at wakemed.org. Walk right in, and for just about anything from asthma, rashes, and examinations to x-rays, labs, and vaccinations, make MyCare your care.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You angry today, Dennis?
No.
All right, just didn't know if this music coming out of break was a subconscious call for...
No.
All right. In that case, we'll roll on. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget, it's back. The second annual Numbers Game live show presented by Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill takes place Thursday, August 21st. We are less than 10 days out from our second annual Numbers Game live event. The perfect players, the players that received perfect scores, will during the Numbers Game throughout the last year on the show, will battle the clock and each other for Numbers Game supremacy at the Hilton Raleigh North Hills, a fabulous hotel for all your needs. You can watch along as we crown our champion live on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe, set all the alerts there, and then be ready to settle in for a night of Numbers Game magic on August 21st, and you can watch, as we said, on YouTube. Special thanks to Onsite AV, a full-service event production company, for supplying the sights and sounds of Numbers Game Live, August 21st. And speaking of it, all that being presented by Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill, today on the Numbers Game at 5:30, the prize is a Sharky's Place gift card. So you want to be tuned in at about 5:30, and then you want to win the Numbers Game, and then you want to get the $25 gift card to Sharky's Place. There you go. Right now you want to be tuned in because we have the Dean's List. Who makes the Dean's List today? We'll start with kind of a rule here. It's not rule is the wrong word, but we have been for all the watch lists putting the triangle players on the Dean's List. And I guess this came out yesterday and I missed it, but the Bednarik Award watch list goes to the best defensive player in the country. They put out their watch list. There are 4 players from the triangle. 2 from NC State, linebackers Sean Brown and Caden Fordham both made it.
Nice.
2 from Duke, both in the secondary. Terry Moore, the safety, Chandler Rivers, the corner. 15 representatives from the ACC, 4 of them from, as we just said, State and Duke. Clemson did get 3. TJ Parker, Avion Terrell, and Peter Woods, who are all amongst Parker and Woods, top 10 players on most draft boards right now. Terrell, probably top 5 or 6 corners on most NFL draft lists. So a lot of good going on there. Darrell Jackson Jr., who we talked to at ACC kickoff for Florida State, also made it, so friend of the show. And a few others from all across the ACC. But 4 from right here.
By the way, this is the award Peyton Wilson won back in 2023 as the National Player of the Year
Correct.
or National Defensive Player of the Year.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Oh, it's a tremendous one to win.
It's a good one. Especially because defensive players aren't allowed to win the Heisman.
Yeah.
Are they actually not allowed? No, they're allowed. But will they ever? I don't think so.
Not since Charles Woodson.
And he played offense.
And he played some offense, too.
If you want to win the Heisman, you got to play a little offense. A little special teams, do a little.
By the way, Julius Peppers has also won the Bednarik Award as well back in 2001.
If he didn't win the Heisman.
And you know who else won it? In 2000? Dan Morgan.
Oh, I did know that.
Yeah.
I actually did know that. For Miami.
Yep.
We'll forgive him for it. Still, it's a good watch list to be on. Does it mean anything? No, if your favorite defensive player is not on the list, they could be on the midseason watch list when they update it. Like it's not hard and fast. It's just hey, these guys are on the watch list. It's more of what it is. Just a little wave. Do you have a Dean's List you'd like to throw out here?
I do not.
All right, then we'll keep it rolling. This is almost a hey, I had this wrong, but I'm putting Jimbo Fisher on the Dean's List. Jimbo Fisher is former Florida State national championship winning coach, Texas A&M, not national championship winning coach, but he's now on ACC Network. He's doing the ACC Huddle thing in studio. He's kind of doing a media tour right now, promoting that, but he is telling anyone that'll listen that he wants to go back to being a football coach. He wants to be back on the sideline being a college football head coach.
I did see this.
And he received over $75 million in buyout money when he was fired from Texas A&M. He's getting like $7-point-something million per year through, I think, 2031 from Texas A&M.
Bruh.
And at the time, it did feel to me like he maybe, even if he fell in love with football and wanted to do it, that by the end it had become like he became more businessman than coach. It was about the cash. So I thought we had seen the last of Jimbo Fisher. If you got $75 million coming your way to not coach, I thought he was done. Wanting to coach, knowing you have that much money guaranteed coming your way, whether you coach or not, that's a football coach. And you got to respect the passion, right? Now, does he end up coaching? I don't know. Does anybody hire him? I don't know. Would he take $1 to coach because he's got all this money coming from Texas A&M? Maybe not. Maybe it is a double dip play and he just wants to make more money on top of that. But I do respect somebody that never has to work again, that wants to go into back into a profession like college football coaching, which is pretty darn demanding. Like you're not, even if you're a CEO style head coach, you still got to work the hours. Dean's List, continuing. We'll throw Bill Belichick's friends on the list. Tony La Russa was at UNC practice today. 3-time World Series winning manager in Major League Baseball, 80-year-old. I imagine that is there's probably not many people that can relate to winning multiple championships at the highest level of the game, of whatever their game is. So he and Belichick have a little bit of kinship there. Belichick kind of has the 70-year-old dude edition of or version of what Deion Sanders used to do at Colorado. Remember his first year, he brought in rappers and movie stars and everybody was coming through.
Yeah, Lil Wayne, The Rock, he had a whole bunch of people out there.
Belichick's are you excited by Teddy Bruschi and Tony La Russa? It's a different beast, but people say you don't recruit the player, you recruit the parent. There's probably some grandparents out there that are calling up their grandson. What was La Russa like at practice today? Did you get a chance to talk to Ty Law? They're going for the older guy version. So shout out to Bill Belichick's friends. He did have, by the way, Lil Wayne at I actually think Lil Wayne came through the offseason in Chapel Hill.
He did, actually. It was actually just before Dreamville at Dix Park. Lil Wayne
got a
swung
Tucci
by
jersey.
there, yeah.
So there you go. Bill Belichick's got the same friends as Dion. I don't know why I'm selling him short. Another one here. Actually, which direction? We'll go with this way. Ty Simpson and E.J. Warner. Ty Simpson at Alabama, E.J. Warner, who's actually Kurt Warner's son at Fresno State.
Okay.
They've been named the starting quarterbacks. Quarterback competitions coming to a close. I say that to say, so congratulations to them. You're on the Dean's List.
Which schools?
Alabama and Fresno State.
Okay.
It's that time, UNC. It's starter naming time. It's, hey, you better get guys to take control of the offense time. You can't keep splitting reps between a million people time. Other schools are doing it. I know that's probably the worst way to convince Bill Belichick to do anything.
Yeah, because everyone else is doing it.
Because everyone else is doing it. He's probably like, yeah. How many rings do they have?
Combine them. Then we'll talk.
Oh, they're contenders this year. But I do think tick, 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 tick. Like, if it's Gio Lopez, it's Gio Lopez. Name it, make it happen. You know what I mean? They're treating Gio Lopez, by the way, publicly as if it kind of is going to happen, but they just haven't named it yet. There's a long article by David Hale on ESPN about playing for Belichick and what it's like. And, like, the lead anecdote is Gio Lopez sitting and watching Tom Brady film with Bill Belichick. Like, he's being treated as if he's the guy, but it's not there yet. Last one here. And this one I came about in a weird way. Gideon Davidson. There's a lot of hype right now for Clemson. They were just yesterday. AP Top 25 poll preseason came out. Clemson was 4th, which is a bit higher than I was expecting. It seems like most polls, most rankings have them in like the 6 to 8 range. They were 4th in the AP Top 25 with 4 first-place votes. And they have a bunch of NFL guys, and we've been hyping them up because they're good. I was watching ESPN earlier today. I actually think it may have been ESPN 2. Don't quote me. Greg McElroy jumped on there, the old Alabama quarterback.
Works for the SEC network now, I believe.
And they were talking about Clemson, and it just said, like, strength and weakness. And the weakness he gave was running back depth. And I thought this was, again, I did my checking. I thought this was like, oh, do they only have 4 4-stars? Do they only have 8 5-star? Oh, they missed out on the number 1 running back in the country for 2 straight years? Oh, no. So I went and looked it up. Gideon Davidson is an incoming freshman that was the 3rd running back in the class. 69th overall recruit.
Nice.
4-star. Beyond that, they don't have much. Jay Haynes and a converted wide receiver, I think it was Keith Wells, are the 2 guys backing them up. Neither had more than like 240 yards last year in mop-up duty. They might have, like, for as talented as they are, and they did take transfers this offseason, why the heck did they not go get some 800-yard rusher from a MAC school? Like, whoa. Gideon Davidson, if he stays healthy, as a true freshman for an explosive offense, might be a workhorse. He might be like a, 15-touchdown guy for Clemson, which, had to be a heck of a recruiting pitch. Hey, Cade Klubnik, projected first-round pick. Hey, Antonio Williams, projected first-round pick wide receiver. Wesco Jr., another projected top pick, first 2-day pick wide receiver. We have all of this talent on offense. We just need a running back to score the touchdowns. How do you like us now, Gideon Davidson? It is crazy that every once in a while these teams just have – it's where you – for lack of a better like, can you imagine if you could trade in college? Because I think like halfway through this year, they're going to realize they have 12 dudes on the defensive line. And if Gideon Davidson gets hurt, they might not have a running back that they can depend on. Be like, hey, who wants an edge rusher for your best running back? Would definitely work for them.
We'll trade 2 scholarships for
yeah, exactly, and a prospect to be named, a 4-star to be named later. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the Dean's List. We can go ahead and dismiss the Dean's List because there's somebody else I want to put a few extra accolades on, give a little extra praise to. Tim Donnelly here for Maynard Service Company. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical. They've got them all. And Unlike what I was just talking about there, they've got depth at all 4 positions. Excellent, expert technicians if you need help with your heating system, your cooling system, your plumbing, or your electrical. And they're constantly thinking about what's next. They're constantly, retaining their talent, which is really important. They run a entire community. That's what I'll call it. It's a business, but they run an entire community within Maynard Service Company that just sees people turn it into a career, right? Their technicians show up, they're treated well, they're trained properly, they're given everything that they're looking for, so they stay around for a long time. That builds up your bench, right? You have new guys coming in, new ladies coming in, learning, getting better. The others aren't leaving. It's not a turnover deal, right? There's no eligibility expiring. So you have experts at everything they do. Again, experts when it comes to feeding your heater, fixing your heater, experts when it comes to fixing your cooling system, your plumbing, your electrical, and that's great because when you're running 24/7 service all across the triangle, you don't want to be, playing the luck game. Do you have the good technician on? It's 2 a.m. and my roof is leaking or my toilet isn't working, right? You don't want to be playing that game. You want to be calling, knowing no matter who's on call, who's working that shift, you're having great service, and Maynard Service Company makes it happen. It's good organizational depth if we think about it in the sports term. The number to call, 919-361-0993. 919-361-0993. Or visit them online at maynardservices.com. That's MAYNOR services.com. We have, coming up next, some bold predictions from Hubert Davis, the head coach of UNC. Stick around.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 bird dogs for just $5 or 2 bird dog combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Why world-class? Because it has a crisp and superior taste. That's world-class. It has only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. That's very world-class. So, if I'm seen drinking it by association, am I world-class? Oh yeah, Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Trimble, Haynes in the air. Take that, Dayton. We're first in flight. Trimble bangs it in for 2.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Please subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. We live stream every show. We post podcasts. We have clips and segments from the Adam Gold Show. There's a lot going on our YouTube. And it allows you to catch up on things you missed, right? If there's a local team that you love and you want all of that content, well, I promise you, as long as it's a local team, as long as it's from the state of North Carolina, you go on our YouTube page, there'll be something for you. So go ahead and check it out. And then pass it to your friend that also loves that team. That's the key. That's the favor to us.
Tell a friend and tell a friend.
Tell a friend to tell a friend and have them tell a friend. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. If you're a UNC basketball fan, I want to know how you feel about this. We have a quote from Hubert Davis, the head coach of UNC Basketball, and it is attributed to, or I should say hat tip to, Brett Friedlander. Hoops HQ is the place that I caught the quote for the first time. It is about a couple of highly rated freshmen, Derek Dixon and Isaiah Dennis. During UNC's summer workouts, they've been playing well. And here's the quote. I feel like I do have to set this one up. Like it's like I need like everybody get ready, prepare yourself. If you are a diehard UNC fan, you may want to sit. Here we go. About Derek Dixon and Isaiah Dennis. You can see it in the way they compete and play, Davis said. It wouldn't surprise me that by the time they leave Carolina, it wouldn't surprise me to see both of their jersey numbers up in the rafters. That is talking a big game. The way they compete and play makes you think that their number would be up in the rafters. Now, there's two ways to think about this. I'll tell you my gut reaction, and then I worked as hard as I could to make this make sense. My gut reaction is, what are you doing here? My gut reaction is UNC is coming off, quite frankly, by UNC standards, which are admittedly very, very high, a bad season. They squeaked into the NCAA tournament. Some don't think they even should be or should have squeaked into the tournament. And when I say some, it's, you leave our state, there's probably a majority. Didn't think they deserved to be in the NCAA tournament. They did win a game in the first four, but then they kind of got run off the road, right? That first round, not first round, whatever, I don't even know what to call it. The first game of the round of 64 for them was not a good one.
Yeah, it's first round.
So, yeah, it goes first four, then first round. All right, whatever. My point is, last year, not a good year for UNC. So everybody on the team this year, whether they were around last year or not, the incoming newbies or the Seth Trimbles, it doesn't matter. Everyone on the team this year already has loads and loads of pressure on them. It's already, you better not let that happen again. It's already, if things go like they did last year, you know how those conversations end. So there's a ton of pressure on these guys already. Not to mention just with being a high-profile freshman at UNC, even when things are going well, there's a lot of pressure on you because UNC fans are passionate, and they should be. Then I jumped to the Wayback Machine, right? And this hat tip to everybody on social media. There's a ton of people that pointed it out. There's a quote from 2023 from Hubert Davis about two highly rated freshmen coming in, DeMarco Dunn and Dontrez Styles. Am I getting this right? 2021? Am I getting the
Yeah, I think it's 2021.
Right, typo. Anyway, it says, by the time that they leave Carolina, they're going to be two of the best players ever to play in Carolina history. I really believe that. Now, needless to say, they did not go on to be two of the best players in Carolina history. They were very high prospects, but no disrespect to those guys. I would say that extra pressure, they didn't live up to it. So to do it again is kind of crazy. Now, here's my flip, right? Because your gut reaction isn't always the right reaction, right? People tell you to trust your gut, and I think for the most part it's good advice, but it's not always the right reaction. So I thought about it from this prospect, this side of things. Is there a world where two guys that are going into a very tough situation, right? They're being tasked with rescuing UNC basketball along with their teammates, and they're two of the higher rated people coming in. Could this be a situation where they leave that article, or when people send it to them, they leave flush with confidence because their coach is feeding his dudes with dreams and hopes, right? Is this Hubert Davis feeling like they need a little jump? Maybe behind the scenes, we don't know, but they're being a little passive in pickup, right? Maybe they're deferring a little too much, and he wants these guys to go out there and play like their jerseys are destined to be next to Jordan's. Maybe. This is one of those situations where how it plays out will very much decide what this comment is place in history is going to be, whether we'll be giggling about it 5 years from now or whether we'll be excited by it 5 years from now.
I say, oh, Hubert called it. Or it's like, remember when Hubert said this? To me, I think it puts a pretty high expectation on two guys who have not seen the floor yet in terms of, hey, we want you to be out there with the likes of what R.J. Davis became, what Tyler Hansborough became, what all these other guys became that, Worthy, Jordan, all these guys that, again, hanging up in the rafters at Carolina, which there is a strict criteria in order to have your name hanging up there in the rafters, whether it's a retired number or just your jersey name as honoree. It's a pretty high bar and standard. You're expecting these guys to play at first or second team All-American level. That's a pretty high expectation for guys who have come in and, again, have not even laced up their sneakers yet to play in an actual game.
Yep.
That's a pretty high bar to set on. And to be honest, if they don't come out and play that way, then it's like, well, okay, what's wrong with them? Or if Hubert Davis doesn't give him a lot of minutes early on. Because DeMarco Dunn only played about 4 minutes a game his freshman year. So wait a second. You thought this guy was going to be capable of having his jersey in the rafters. Why aren't you playing him?
That was, again, when I was doing my devil's advocate flip and trying to see it from the other, I thought if maybe that could be it, which is like maybe he's looking at his plans for this year and these guys aren't, or one or both of them isn't going to be a huge part of it. And now this comment is what he comes back to when they're frustrated with like playing time or something. Like, listen, man, I still believe in you. I think your jersey's going in the rafters. But this year, it's about getting bigger and stronger and working on your jump shot, right? Like it's almost like I'm gonna overpromise for where you'll be 3 or 4 years from now, so I can maybe undercut on what your expectations are for your freshman year. I actually, when done right, I am kind of a fan of coaching through the media, right? It is a delicate beast because there's certain times where coaches say things in the media that very, very obviously are meant for one person, right? It's like, oh, he wants that guy to hear that message. It's delicate because everybody else hears it too, right? It's delicate because, you have to make sure the player is built in a way that they don't like that. You're not airing dirty laundry of somebody who doesn't want it aired. But with that being said, it is like it's delicate in that it can blow up in your face or it can be a glorious thing. I don't think you use it often. I think when you use it, you better have thought about it. It is one of the ways I think coaches are almost diabolical. Diabolical might not be the right word, but like very intentional, right? It's the example I always use. I don't even know if it's a good example anymore. But when Aaron Rodgers said immunized instead of vaccinated, it was like, oh, he knew exactly what he was doing. It's almost that where a coach, says something to the media and it's like, whoa, that's big. Do you think he meant to make a prediction like that? And he's like, no, not only did I mean to make a prediction like that, I said it that exact way for a reason, right? I didn't say by the time they leave, I think he'll be a top 10 draft pick. I said he's going to have his number in the rafters. Like I think there's, when handled right and when handled with caution, I think that that matters. And it can work. We'll see if it does. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have football at 4 coming up next, where carefully chosen Dan Orlovsky ranked quarterbacks in a bunch of different categories. Did Bryce make the top 10 in any of them? Stick around.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in the Triangle. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you can bring a friend anytime and so much more when you join today. You heard that right. Conquer the stair climber with your partner in climb. Enjoy a post-workout recovery session in the Hydro Massage and do it all again with access to any of our 2,700 convenient locations. So, you coming? Get all the perks with the PF Black Card for $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Offer ends August 14th.
See Club for details.
Hey folks, Dennis Cox here for Raleigh Weight Loss Center. If you've struggled with your weight like I have or bounced from one fad diet to the next, you need to listen to this. I can proudly say I lost nearly 20 pounds in 2 weeks thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center, and that was just the start. The program helps you reset your metabolism naturally. No steroids, no shots, no HGH, no side effects, just your body losing a half pound to a pound per day and doing it in a way where you can maintain that goal weight. It's frustrating when you feel like you're doing the right things with zero results. Trust me, I've been there, but this is the lightest I've been in years. My clothes fit better, I have more energy when I'm active and playing sports, and I'm sleeping better. Visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com or give them a call, 919-897-7506. Again, RaleighWeightLossCenter.com, or again, give them a call, 919-897-7506. 919-897-7506. Start that weight loss journey now. Results may vary.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Our tropical air mass hangs around, so as the rain begins to develop across your area, expect there to be some heavy downpours, and in some spots we'll likely have some isolated flooding. Expect a high of 85. 73 tonight as the rain diminishes. Tomorrow's high 87, but it does remain mostly cloudy with another round of showers and storms.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 469 points to 44,444.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Dan Orlovsky, ESPN, watches every snap of every game. He'll tell you. Go check out any interview he's given in the last 4 years. He's got a whole system. He's iPads in the car. He watches every snap of every NFL game. And he used all of that film watching to put together top 10 lists for a bunch of traits amongst quarterbacks in the NFL. I'll tell you right now, Bryce Young is top 10 in one of them. The traits that he judged are arm strength, ball placement, mechanics, decision-making, pocket presence, rushing ability, and second reaction. I would call second reaction like improv ability, kind of like
extending plays.
Yeah, once the whatever the play call is doesn't work, what do you do with it? So those are the categories. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 categories. He did a top 10 for all of them. Joe Burrow was number 1 in 4.
Okay.
How do you like that?
I mean, he's good.
Lamar Jackson was top 3 in darn near all of them.
Makes sense. He's good.
Yeah. Bryce Young made the top 10 in one category. We'll play a game here. It's going to be honor system. I will read the categories once again and then think to yourself what category Bryce Young was top 10 in the NFL in, according to Dan Orlovsky. The categories are arm strength, ball placement, mechanics, decision-making, pocket presence, rushing ability, and second reaction. All right, think about it. Think it to yourself. Do you need any more time to deliberate? All right, somebody over there needs some more time. Okay, everybody ready? Lock it in. Pocket presence. Pocket presence. I don't think that would have been my number 1 draft pick. I don't think that would have been my first choice. He was 9th, by the way, so he just squeaked into the top 10 in pocket presence. Now, I will, like, he's pretty good at it, don't get me wrong, and I do think if you are, and I know this is said about Bryce all the time, a shorter quarterback, you get almost like the assumption that you are good at pocket presence because your feet are always moving because you got to find those alleys for you to throw it to. I don't know if that's always like – when I think pocket presence, I think do you have the eyes in the back of your head so when you know when to escape and when you can stay in the pocket, and do you have a really good internal alarm clock like to where like, hey, my offensive line's doing a great job here. If I need to sit and wait, I can sit and wait, or the vice versa. If I need to get the heck out of Dodge, I need to get the heck out of Dodge.
Or just I got to take one half a step forward. That's it.
I don't know if that's what I think of as like Bryce's best relative to his peers category, but I will say this. It's a really important one for Bryce Young for the reason of he's a little bit smaller and for the reason of I do think their offense works best when the ball is getting out on time. And if you can ever avoid like the big elaborate escape in exchange for a half step to the left, that's always going to be better for a timing-based offense. So it's an important one. I also know this. If Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers are going to reach their potential, which I think people are raising the ceiling on them pretty aggressively right now. Saw a couple clips in the preseason. They like what they see out of Teteroa McMillan, and the ceiling is going up, which I think needs to be slowed down a little. But if they're going to reach their potential, he has to be top 10 at more than one thing. And I would say maybe one thing you need to be up there in the top 6 or 7. Like you need to become elite at something. I don't know if we're to the point yet with Bryce, although some might be, where I'm banking on him being like a top 10 quarterback at the league in any point in his career, right? I need to see more before I think he can get there. But you need to have your superpower. You need to have the thing you do that you can always – you need Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's skyhook, right? You need the thing you go to.
Steph Curry pull-up 3 from 40 feet.
Golfers, you need your 7-iron, right? Like when I just need to hear the good contact with the club, go into the 7. Tin cup, right? You need your shot that you're something that you do that you know you can talk trash against anybody for. When we were doing the pre-draft evaluations, right? The Panthers traded up to number 1, and everyone was debating: is it Stroud? Is it Bryce Young? Is it Anthony Richardson? Is it this guy? Is it that guy? Is it the other guy? Who's it going to be? I remember saying Bryce Young's superpower has to be his computing ability. It has to be his processing ability. That's what everybody sold us on, right? Coaches at Alabama that had worked with XYZ quarterback, this great, this guy, that guy. They said his mind is like a computer. It's so fast. It recalls things. He's anticipatory. You need that. And that's why so many of the comparisons, so many of the pre-draft, not just height-wise, but also height-wise, were guys like Drew Brees, guys like Tua Tagovailoa, guys that maybe weren't the most impressive physically, but they could beat you with their mind over and over and over again. If Bryce Young is not in the top 10 in decision-making, I think it's really, really hard for the Panthers to end up where most fans want them to end up or hoping they're going to end up. I would put ball placement out there as well. For this fact, I think they're still and should be. I'm not saying this isn't how it, like, I'm agreeing with this, but I'm saying they're going to be run first, run second team. The way Dave Canales wants that offense to work, it has to get started with the engine, and the engine is the offensive line and Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle behind him. That's where they want to live with their bread and butter. That means there will be opportunities for big plays in the pass game. They won't always be a lot of opportunities in the pass game if things are going well. But when you have that opportunity, you need to take advantage of it. When you get Teteroa McMillan on a crosser And he has the ability to do the thing we saw him do a million times if you watched his tape at Arizona, his college, where he catches it on the crosser and he goes what we used to call cross country. Catch it on the left hash and bow past the right hash and up the numbers where and he's getting that stride going and all of a sudden he's off to the races. That only works with good ball placement, right? If it's on his back shoulder and he's got to slow down to make the catch, he's getting tackled. If he has to lunge forward and he can't continue that momentum, it's not as good. The ball placement, Xavier Legette even more so. Xavier Legette is a rocket, right? He's 4.39 40, but I would say he's less natural as a catcher. That ball needs to be on him perfectly, and if that happens, the yards after the catch ability is there. I think ball placement, decision making, and second reaction needs to be top 10 in the league. Top 10 in the league. And if you mix in pocket presence, I'll give Orlovsky that. Like that could be. I'm not saying it isn't. If those 4 out of the 7, you're top 10, and one of them, and I don't care which one, is your bread and butter, that thing's like 6th or above in the league. Now we're talking about a quarterback that can achieve the lofty ceiling expectations that the Panthers are looking for. I also thought this was a interesting analogy, and I want to be clear. I'm not making this analogy, but I heard someone make it. Right now, ESPN has their like fantasy football marathon going on, whatever they do. They do like 48 hours straight of like mock drafts and rankings. And I was watching it earlier today. Daniel Dopp, who is part of the Fantasy Football podcast. Fantasy Focus podcast. I didn't know this about him. I don't follow much of his stuff, but he's a former military member. He was in, I think, the Air Force. And he was talking about Bryce Young as a potential fantasy quarterback. And Daniel, again, not me, because I would never think I could make this comparison, he compared Bryce Young's first 2 years to his experience with basic training. And basically what he said was his experience with basic training was they broke him down to what he felt like was rubble, like there was nothing there. And then they built him back into what he became very proud of as his military career and serving our country. Thank you to everybody that's done that. Again, I want to be clear. Daniel Dopp was the one that said this. I would not on my own make a comparison from a military member to a quarterback. But he was then talking about Bryce Young going like, listen, last year it did feel like Dave Canales, whether a part of, intentional or not, brought Bryce Young down to rubble. And then the benching happened and the first 2, and it was like, that's basic training where you think you're going to quit. And now the build back process is happening, and they're trying to build them back better, stronger, smarter. If that analogy is apt, then I think decision making and second reaction should be really good, right? If the coach was building you back from nothing in the way that they saw was perfect for the offense, you should mesh very well with the decision making. You should mesh very well with the instincts, right? Like we started you back at square one and took it one step at a time to get you where you are now. I want to see Bryce Young make the next step as a decision maker. And by the way, that's not just, making the right read. It's situational awareness. It's cutting your losses, right? The image I have. Or it's not an image. It's like a GIF. I don't know what they're called. The like short videos that are online. It's one of those that plays in my mind that personifies all of the struggles early in the season for Bryce Young. I believe it was the second game, the second week. So not the catastrophe against the Saints. It was the follow-up performance, the encore in week 2.
At home against the Chargers.
Where it was third down, probably long, 3rd and 10 maybe. Don't quote me on it. And he escaped to his left and had all day, right? Pocket collapsed. He escaped out of the pocket, went to his left, flipped his hips, and it almost looked like the controller disconnected. Bryce was just sitting there. And I'm going, throw it up. Throw it out of bounds. Run. Throw it. Throw it. And he just never did anything and took the sack. And I went, that's a bad decision in a few ways, right? Third down and long, you can arm punt it, right? You can throw it to whoever's furthest downfield, give them a shot, and if it's intercepted, hey, it's a punt, right? It's an arm punt. That's situationally okay. You can throw it away and just say, you know what? We got to punt. We got to get rid of it. We need to live to fight another day. Or you could run and say, I've got a little shiftiness here. Maybe I can pull off something spectacular. But the one thing you can't do is just sit there and freeze and lose yardage.
Yeah, I remember that play. It was the third down. Actually took him out of field goal range.
And it's exactly, and on top of field goal range. And I should have mentioned that. It's like that whole thing was just decision. Like there was 8 bad decisions in one decision. Right? You had 6 options of things you could have done. One of them was wrong. All the rest were right. And he picked the wrong one. And I'm going like, all right, if they took that quarterback, because he was benched that between that game and the next one. If they took that quarterback and burnt it down to rubble and rebuilt, the first thing I would have rebuilt is the decision-making to make sure that doesn't happen. If this time next year Orlovsky puts together his 7 lists of 10, and I do the first thing I do every time one of these lists comes out, on my computer here, I just do a little search function, and I type in Panthers and see how many times it pops up. Because if it's 0 out of 25, I'm like, all right, never mind. Right? Nobody is on any of these pages. But if I do the search and I get like 4 or 5 pops, I think that probably means the Panthers won 7, 8, 9 games, which means top of the potential was fulfilled. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Dennis Cox has something he'd like to tell you.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Unfortunately, this is the portion of the day where, or just the portion of the year where we get so much rain and stuff in the afternoon. The motorcycle gets parked. And unfortunately, it gets parked. But I want to make sure that any motorcycle rider out there, that you do all the preparations between now and the next time you actually get your bike back out there on the road. In this bad weather, make sure your bike is properly covered. And if you do get rainwater on your bike, make sure you clean it immediately. Dry it up. Make sure you get any little rust spots and all that stuff off your bike, because the last thing you want to do is go out there on the road with a bike that's not working properly. That's when disaster can happen. But if you are injured in a motorcycle accident, this is where Law Tigers steps in to help you. Their case evaluations with Law Tigers are always free, and their case evaluations, again, are always free. But they don't get paid until your case settles, because Law Tigers are part of the motorcycle riding community. They know what your bike and your gear are worth, but most importantly, they know what you're going through after an accident. That's why you got to give them a call. 1-800-LAW-TIGERS if you're injured in a motorcycle accident. 1-800-LAW-TIGERS is the number to call. Once again, lawtigers.com, or call them 1-800-LAW-TIGERS even before you contact your insurance company. 1-800-LAW-TIGERS is the number to call. North Carolina's motorcycle injury lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, gets to the ladder challenge. It's been a while since Dennis and I faced off in the ladder challenge. We'll see who's up next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
The latest Browns hope is Shador. Before then, it was Baker Mayfield, it was Johnny Manziel. At the time they were with the Cleveland Browns, I think neither of them were ready for the stardom and the roller coaster ride that being the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns comes with the way that this guy is.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Looking for a big new game to play? Well, there's no game bigger than the new dino-sized Jurassic Park scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery, which gives you a chance to win up to $200,000 instantly. And if that weren't enough, you can enter for a chance to win an exciting trip to beautiful Hawaii, where you could win up to $1 million. Welcome to Jurassic Park. Adventure awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.28. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Your fantasy draft is here. The Smack Talk is starting, and this season, ESPN Bet is giving you more ways to ride with your squad. Introducing ESPN Bet Fan Center, where you can instantly link and bet on your fantasy teams right in the ESPN Bet app. An enhanced sports betting experience only from ESPN Bet, the sports book for sports fans. Download the app today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. All right, we're gonna have some fun here real quickly before the ladder challenge gets started. Dennis, I have the first performer in the Chapel Thrill concert series.
Okay. This is the outside of Kenan Stadium before games tailgate thing UNC's putting on this football season.
Correct. Chase Rice.
Okay.
Chase Rice, country music superstar.
All right.
Chase Rice, to me, is the country music version of he's got some Forrest Gump qualities.
Okay.
In that he's, just kind of pops up in the background of a lot of really different stories over the years. And I'll tell you how I came about on Chase Rice years ago. So Chase Rice went to UNC, okay? We'll talk about that. Prior to that, so he's going to be the Chapel Thrill TCU game. He'll be outside putting on a performance. You go way back to his high school career. Do you know what high school he attended? A.C. Reynolds High School.
Out there in Nashville.
A.C. Reynolds High School is a bit of a Forrest Gump high school in and of itself. I have some people that may have been there at the same time as him.
Okay.
Luke Combs, country music superstar. Ben Johnson, NFL head coach of the Chicago Bears, the offensive coordinator of the Lions last year that orchestrated one of the best offenses we've seen in a while. And much later, right, this one probably isn't there at the same time, Rico Dowdle, the running back for the Carolina Panthers.
That's right, he did go there.
Then Chase Rice goes to UNC, where he is a member of the football team. He's a linebacker for the UNC football team. His Wikipedia says he didn't pursue the NFL due to an injury. Might be one of those, my knee blew out situations. But either way, played at UNC. So now he's at this high school with a bunch of, no offense to A.C. Reynolds, probably per capita, producing way more famous people than you'd think. They also produced a wrestler that I saw that is Carl Anderson. Does that strike a bell for you?
Oh, yeah.
Carl Anderson also went there.
That's right.
There you go. And, all the way down to Maria Fletcher, 1962 Miss America. After
pumping out stars.
After graduating from UNC, he goes and becomes a pit crew guy in NASCAR. He is now working for Hendrick Motorsports pit crew on Ryan Newman's nationwide car, then works on Jimmy Johnson's Sprint Cup Series car and wins 2 championships on the Lowe's team. So we have exciting high school, playing for UNC football. Now he's a pit crew guy for Jimmy Johnson and Ryan Newman. Do you know what he does next? He goes on Survivor. He's a contestant on the popular reality television show Survivor for their season in Nicaragua. And this is where I first saw him, because I was I was late to Survivor, if that makes any sense. Everybody watched like the first 2 seasons, then I felt like nobody watched it for years. But now it's like this weird phenomena again. A couple of years ago, or a handful of years ago, probably 5 or 6, I went and binged watched like 40 seasons of Survivor. I fell in love with the strategy of it. It was competitive. I threw it on while I was working out. Like, I watched all these Survivors. And actually, Chase Rice's season was pretty good. But guess what? I just knew him as Chase. I didn't know he was Chase Rice at the time. Even though I knew Chase Rice as a musician, I just didn't connect the two. He got swindled by Brenda. Got absolutely taken for a ride by Brenda on Survivor. He had no clue whether he was coming or going. She backstabbed him. It was the whole way. The whole time you're watching it going like, oh, this big guy Chase is going to get smoked by Brenda. And then sure enough, he did. And then at the reunion show, he goes, oh, by the way, everybody, I'm trying to make it as – this is like years before I watched it, right, because I'm binge watching ones from years ago. By the way, everybody, I'm trying to make it as a country music superstar. Can somebody get me a guitar? And he plays a song, and I go, that's Chase Rice. I just watched the whole show, had no idea that's Chase Rice. That was him. And then it just went up from there, becomes a superstar, and he's coming back to UNC to play at the UNC Chapel Thrill. The dude is in the background of, like, a whole bunch of exciting things, and now he's coming back to maybe where it all started, the state of North Carolina. Congratulations to him. Now let's play some ladder challenge.
Oh, my God! And for the 20-foot ladder with a spear on Jeff Hardy. For the love of God, Jeff Hardy may be broken. Smack dab in half.
Ladder challenge. The way this works, Dennis and I make one bet per day, the only rule being it has to be a likely to win bet. We've set the parameters at minus 500 to minus 1,000 odds for those of you that dabble in that world. And if you win, you roll it all over the next day. Stake, winnings, everything. And we try to hit a few weeks in a row to really, 5, 10x our money without having to take the big risk of like a, plus 400 bet at any point in time. It starts slow, but then once that compilation starts getting put together, it can get pretty good pretty quick. Dennis was out Friday and Monday, so we're going back to last Thursday for our last picks. I had the Raiders over 12.5 points on that Thursday NFL preseason game. Worked exactly like I saw it. I said Pete Carroll's bringing energy. They're going to scratch and claw to the end. At halftime, they had 3 points. Into the second half, deep into the third period, they had 10, but they scratched and clawed, fought all the way to the final whistle, finished with 23. No sweat winner. That brings me up to $15.55. How'd it go for you last Thursday, Dennis?
So I had, who is it pitching? I had Brady Singer for the Cincinnati Reds taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. I just needed him to walk at least one batter, which he did. It was a minus 900. So that took me to $16.13.
All right, so we're in the throes of it. And by the way, this ends at the end of the month, and whoever has the most money at the end of the month gets the trophy, which is right here where it belongs in the host's studio. Dennis, since you have the lead, you do get to pick first, so go ahead and make your selection.
Carlos Rodon, New York Yankees are at home taking on the Minnesota Twins. Give me Rodon to give up at least one earned run today. He has an ERA of about 3.4. Minus 525 on the earned run average. So my $16.13 will turn into a $19.20 thanks to a minus 525 bet.
I'm also looking at baseball. I'm also looking at a pitcher. I'm taking Paul Skeens, 5 or more strikeouts versus the Brewers.
Okay.
This is a bit of like the unstoppable force against an immovable object. The Brewers are a wagon right now.
They have best record in baseball.
And like seemingly picking up steam. But I think Skeens likes that a bit. He plays it off in media like he's just like he's kind of like a resting face, like he's always just asleep. But I think for these moments, he wants to go out there and show everybody that he's on another level as a pitcher. He averages about 7 strikeouts a game in his career, but that's including some innings limits and things when you're a young pitcher. I think he goes out there, gets 8 or 9, which obviously is over 5, which would turn my $15.55 into $17.77 because it's a minus 700 bet. So not as big a payout as Dennis, but I'm nickel and diming. I'm just going to try to keep hitting these bets, let Dennis mess up. That's the plan. And that's the ladder challenge. Here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Shall we play a different game? How about a little copper drop?
You want true enlightenment? Well, I'm dropping.
Dennis, what are we copping? What are we dropping? What are we doing here?
Okay. Now that it is ACC football, is this a couple of weeks away? Now we have the top 25 poll. Just came out yesterday, the AP top 25. Cop or drop, the ACC will have 2 schools finish in the top 10 of the AP poll. Again, finish the year.
So is
2 teams in the
post-bowl
top
games?
10. Yes. So finish the season. This is after the national championship, all that stuff. 2 teams in the top 10. Cop or drop.
Do you know what's funny? I've completely stopped. Like when we talk about where they're going to end up in the poll, I always think at the end of after conference championships because that's what matters for making the CFP. I never think of post bowl like how it's going to end up. So this is my first time even like entertaining the idea because, like to put it one way, if Miami doesn't make the CFP, I find it nearly impossible that they'll finish in the top 10 because. Like, they're not going to have a dominant showing in whatever Jimmy O'Brady's bowl they go to. They're going to have guys that leave to go pro and like, all the opt-outs. So there's no way they jump from, like, 14th to 10th if they're not in the CFP. Clemson, the same thing, right? None of those guys are going to go play in a bowl game that's not the CFP, although I think they make the CFP. So Clemson I'll put in the top 10. Can I find – you said 2, right?
Yes, cop or drop, 2 or more.
Yeah, I'm copping 2 or more.
All right, who's the other one?
You didn't say that. Like you need 1 out of the next 5. Like the justification for me copping it was I like the 6-team tier. I've changed the way I've been thinking about it. I've been saying there's a top tier of 6 in the ACC. Mm-hmm. I've put Clemson in their own tier, and then there's a 2 through 6. There's in whatever order you want to put them, Miami, SMU, Duke, State, and there's one I'm missing.
Georgia Tech or Louisville?
I think I had Louisville there. And then right below it is Georgia Tech and Florida State, because who knows what the heck Florida State's going to do. You only need one of those to make it. I do think both teams in the ACC championship will likely be into the CFP, and I think they'll show well for themselves in the CFP. So, I mean, if you're going to make me choose,
I am.
I guess Miami.
Okay. I mean, they are preseason 10.
Yeah, I don't love that, but I do think they have some talent around Carson Beck that might make it easier for him. So yeah, I guess Miami.
Okay. Cop or drop, an ACC school will make it to the college football playoff national championship game. Cop or drop.
If I'm being real, this is a will Clemson play for the national championship.
That's
question.
fair.
Yeah, you know what? I'm copping it. I'm copping it. By the way, to the Clemson fan that sent me Clemson's running back depth chart in my Twitter mentions after I said they didn't have great running back depth, I responded with the stats that I think back up what I was saying. They just don't have much proven, right? I'm not saying they don't have anybody that like has ever been a good running back at any point in time. But at the same time, if there was one pleasant surprise for Clemson last year, it was Klubnik's rushing ability. Mm-hmm. I think they can manufacture a running game until they trust one of those guys to be a bell cow. I think their defense is very good. I think Clemson will make it.
All right, cop or drop. NC State football hits 10 wins for the first time under the Dave Doeren era. 10-plus wins. NC State football this year, cop or drop.
This is tough. I have, like in gambling, I have rules that I try to follow. I can't say I always do, but I try to follow them. For a long time, I had the rule of don't bet against Tom Brady. You don't have to bet for Tom Brady, but don't bet against him because it just feels like you're going to lose a lot of money. It's just a rule. I have the same thing with Mahomes now. Doesn't mean I'm never, like I'm always all in on him, but I don't always pick it. One of my rules is the best indicator of future results is past results. So betting on something to happen for the first time ever is usually not a great bet unless you're getting absurd odds. And with this just being yes or no, like I'm not getting like yes plus 1,000. I think I have to say the same thing that has happened the first 13 or 14 years of Dave Doeren, which is not reaching double-digit wins, is probably going to happen again. So I will drop it. But this is like, this is out of my hands. That's not that's my own rule for myself is putting guardrails up against me, getting caught up in hype and things I like about this team.
All right, cop or drop. Duke football hits 10-plus wins this season. Cop or drop?
I'm probably still dropping it. I remember having this conversation on Pack Therapy, the podcast, with Mike Lennon, my co-host, last year, looking at expectations for the rosters. And obviously he's somebody that's played ACC. He's been in very good ACC locker rooms. He's produced. And we were responding to some fan emails, and he was like, I want everybody to recognize how hard it is to win 10 games in college football.
It's not easy.
Like, expecting that is such a, it's a luxury to be one of the few programs that are every year expecting to win 10. It is just hard. And it takes a lot of talent. It takes a lot of money. It takes a little bit of luck, maybe a lot of bit of luck. Like, there's a lot going into how you end up winning 10 games in a power conference. So I'm dropping it for a lot of the same reasons I dropped it for NC State. Like, it just doesn't happen that often. And without odds making it, worth your while to make that prediction, it's smart to go against those things.
Okay, final one here, at least for regards to college football. UNC football, 10-plus wins this season under Bill Belichick. Cop or drop?
10?
Yeah, 10-plus.
I'm dropping it. Although I will say this. I think Vegas knows something we don't, meaning the sports books. Because everywhere I look, people are betting the under on UNC football. It's one of the most taken bets. I saw this stat from BetMGM. One of the top 3 unders in all of college football is under UNC 7.5 wins. When you see everybody, like in the betting world, a lot of public bets on something, and Vegas isn't moving lines or maybe even moving them in the opposite direction, it's usually like, what did they know that we don't? So I'm not saying 10 wins, but I'm saying sportsbooks may be thinking they're smarter than we are and putting themselves at 8 wins or something for UNC, which is more than I think I would give them credit for as a prediction thus far.
All right. We have 2 more here for you real quick.
All right.
First one. Let's go Carolina Panthers. Teteroa McMillan leads the team in receiving yards. Cop or drop?
Cop. I'm bullish on Teteroa McMillan. And do you know what else I'm bullish on? The relationship between Bryce Young and Teteroa McMillan. I said this on the show yesterday. Let me see if you vibe with this, because you spent some time around the team. Body language-wise, and I'm not a body language expert, right? But, everybody kind of has, a little bit of that, a little bit of awareness. I think it's becoming more and more obvious that just Bryce Young and Teteroa McMillan like each other.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's becoming more and more obvious that, like, I always say this. If you were just in high school, would you sit at the same lunch table, right? And you don't have to sit at the same lunch table to be successful teammates, right? You can just respect each other and, like, hey, we're going to work hard. But for your number one wide receiver and your quarterback to very obviously be like, oh no, we're playing paper football, we're making beats on the kitchen or the cafeteria table, like we're that way, I think matters. So, even something as little as when they mistimed the route down on the goal line, Teteroa McMillan immediately taps chest, gives the thumbs up to Bryce, like, nope, you're good. Like, it just felt like 2 guys that very much trust each other, and that to me leads to a bunch of targets.
That Cali connection. All right, final one here. Cop or drop? Jalen Coker will finish with 600-plus receiving yards this season for the Panthers. Cop or drop?
What do you have, like 480 in 12 games or something like that last year?
472, something along those lines.
600? Yeah, I'll cop that. I think it's a good number. I think it comes down to when and if they turn the keys over to Jalen Coker as one of the guys in the passing game. Matter of fact, let's cut the music there and dive into this a bit further.
32 catches, 478 yards last year.
That's a good. I mean, I'll back that up even one further. I have the stat here somewhere in my notes. Here it is. Jalen Coker ranked 5th among rookie pass catchers in yards per route run last season. And the names that he's behind, you ready?
Yeah.
Brian Thomas Jr.,
Mm-hmm.
Ladd McConkey,
Yep.
Malik Neighbors,
Yep.
Brock Bowers.
Mm-hmm.
really good players. And the next up is Jalen Coker as far as efficiency, how many yards he gained receiving per how many routes he ran. So that tells me not only did he have a small sample size, or like he wasn't out there a ton, but when he was out there, it wasn't, oh gosh, Jalen's out there, let's have him run a decoy. Like, oh, if he has to be out there, let's have him run the safeties off so we can pepper Adam Thielen. It was, no, if he's out there, let's give him the ball. So here's the question I have. At what point do you stop saying things like, he's doing really well for an undrafted free agent? And do you just say, he's one of the 3 best receivers on the roster? Like, at what point do you stop going, what a great story, and going like, what a great guy to scheme open on 3rd and long? Like, at what point did the questions change just a little bit? Because, we've talked about this. Matter of fact, we were talking about it off air. We talk about it so much. There really hasn't been an opportunity that he hasn't taken advantage of. Right? He's an undrafted free agent at his Holy Cross, right? Last year. And people had questions about his athleticism, and people had questions about the competition he faced. And all he did was show up and do well enough to get kept around on the practice squad. Then there's injuries, and he gets brought up, and he goes into a game, and boom, small opportunity, makes some plays. Gets hurt, comes back, makes some plays. Then all the way to the first preseason game on Friday for this season, right? He's not out there with the starters. I'm sure he's bummed, right? He's not out there in 3 wide receiver sets. I'm sure he's not, like, super jacked up about it. Xavier Legette throws a 3-piece combo at a defensive back. Jalen Coker goes in, immediately starts making plays. It's almost this. Do you keep inch by inching him opportunities? Give him a little bit of opportunity, takes advantage of it, give him more. Or at some point do you say, like, let's see if we can pick this up in chunks, right? Instead of, no, let's put him out there a little bit this game, and then a little bit more the next game, and then a little bit more the next game. At any point in time do you go, like, let's get him 50 snaps and see how he deals with it there? Because we're wasting time giving him 5 more snaps at a time and just watching him continue to excel. Let's see if we can pick up a big jump on this, right? He needs to get the ball. From that point on, how and when and where, you start at the end and figure out what you got to do to get there. Let's hear from Brad Idzik, the offensive coordinator, spoke to the media earlier today about the wide receiver competition because Coker's development, really gives them some win-win options.
I just applaud the competition, their approach. So been part of like a lot of rooms that have diverse skill sets, but this group top to bottom, we said, hey, we want you to conceptually learn so we can plug you and play in different spots. All those guys are playing different spots. They're all challenging each other and pushing each other, and you don't feel like there's a huge drop-off when you go from one group to the next.
It's here's the question I have for Coker. It's the only one I have for Coker right now. Can he be a consistent threat to go deep? Because right now, the top 3 wide receivers, Tetairoa McMillan, Xavier Legette, Adam Thielen. That's kind of, whatever order you want to put him in, wherever you line them up, that's kind of it right now. If you're going to replace one with Jalen Coker in the immediate future, I think it's Xavier Legette, right? That's the conversation that needs to happen. At some point, it's not about where you drafted them or where they showed up. It's about who's performing, and that's the conversation to happen. If you're out there with Tetairoa McMillan, who generously is like a 4.55 guy, 4.52, whatever, and Adam Thielen, who is, he's a 3.5 guy, meaning he's 35 years old. If you put somebody out there with both of them, you need to be able to threaten the safeties deep. And for all the flaws Xavier Legette has, he's fast. And he looks fast this year. Right, he had, I guess, the foot injury last year, whatever it was, got it fixed in surgery this offseason. He looks faster this year than he did last year. He can at least threaten the safeties deep. If Coker can do that, and he caught the one-handed over-the-top ball in the first preseason game that didn't count due to penalty, but if he can be a consistent deep threat, I think you can pencil them in there and be comfortable with the way your offense looks. I'll be honest. I think they're going to get there, where Jalen Coker is playing at least in all 3 wide receiver sets to start games. I'm not sure if they get there week 1 or week 12 or anywhere in between, but I think they're going to get there this season. And so, like, when you do Copper drop 600 yards, I'm like, well, what time do they stop trying to make get happen, right? Make fetch happen. At what time do they stop? Do they finally acknowledge, we got the guy, he's right here, let's just play him? Is it week 1 or is it week 12 is really what I was battling there on Copper drop. I hope it happens first month of the season, and then 600 I think is easily within reach as long as he stays healthy. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm sure we'll get some feedback to that conversation. People love Jalen Coker, and that could lead into a feedback frenzy in the future. For right now, Tim Donnelly here for Maynard Service Company. Maynard Service Company, locally owned, which I think is important, right? When it comes to fixing your heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, it's important to be of the area, right? I've lived all over the place. I think I'm up to 9 states now that I've lived in. I might be adding, give or take a couple. But I say that to say, like, even the earth is different, right? You got red dirt here, right? If you got to dig down and do something with the plumbing, the crawl space, whatever, that's different than some other places I've lived. You got to know how to handle it, right? So Maynard Service Company, their ownership is right here in the Triangle. They service the Triangle 24/7. They know the problems we have. They know the problems that our area presents with the unpredictable weather, with the like 3rd and 4th summer we get where it gets really, really hot after we thought it was going to be cold and we're turning the air conditioners back on. Like, they know what happens here because they're from here too. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. Maynard Service Company has it all. They can fix it all. They can maintain it all with some maintenance. Give them a call, 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993. Or visit them online, MaynorServices.com, MAYNOR Services.com. Speaking of the dirt that's around here, if anybody knows how to get red ants just out of your yard, let me know. I kill a mound, it moves 20 feet to the left, and there's another one there by the next weekend.
I think it's called a flamethrower.
Hey, if you know where I can get one. The drive with Tim. We'll have that conversation off air.
Know a guy?
Don't want to incriminate ourselves.
Don't know what you're talking about.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Feedback frenzy coming up next.
Get ready.
Concepcion touchdown, 13 yards. NC State leads North Carolina with 8:01 to play.
College football kicks off August 23rd.
Jones a first down and more. 10-5. They've tied the game. Bully ball by the Duke offense. Down the far sideline. Caught at the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Carolina.
On 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Why world-class? Because it has a crisp and superior taste. That's world-class. It has only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. That's very world-class. So, if I'm seen drinking it by association, am I world-class? Oh yeah, Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
Joining us on this episode are real Spectrum customers, Monique and Greg. We hear your family is a big fan of Spectrum.
Family of 4, we have about 18 devices last time I counted.
2 teens require a lot of speed. Everything they do is online.
There's gaming, there's streaming. Spectrum is perfect for us. I mean, it just seamlessly connects all our devices with lightning speed.
Sounds like Spectrum is really committed to keeping you connected.
It's amazing.
A torn ACL, stress fracture, aching back, a hip that's had it, life on hold, and all you want is to get it back. Enter Wake Orthopedics. Our fellowship-trained orthopedists do it all. General, sports, pediatric, joint replacement, fractures, spine, prevention, advanced diagnostics, progressive treatments, minimally invasive procedures, surgeries, and more. Visit wakemed.org/wakeortho and get back your life.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I asked for a little advice before the break on how to get rid of fire ants in my yard. I have a different kind of advice.
Someone say flamethrower?
Somebody did. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know who that was. I have a different piece of advice that I need from you guys. I don't speak 2025 social media very well.
Okay.
But I do spend an abnormal amount of time on fantasy football.
Okay.
And one of my dynasty players tweeted out like 10 queasy emoji faces, like a squiggly line for the mouth, and then one Pinocchio long nose emoji. It's Tank Bigsby.
Okay.
If anyone knows what that means, hopefully it's just some foolish meme. It's just ha ha ha. If you could let me know at Donnelly Sports, I would greatly appreciate it. And other than that, I'm just going to sit here and worry about the depth chart of the Jacksonville Jaguars running backs, which is, again, extremely nerdy, and I spend too much time with it. With that being said, I also want to spend my time responding to all of you, so let's jump to a feedback frenzy. Dennis goes on the internet. He finds all the comments, the reactions to conversations we've had. He picks the best ones, brings them on air. Dennis, what do you got?
All right, this one actually comes from our YouTube live chat. You were talking about UNC football and some former players, visiting North Carolina and so on. This one says, sources say media. I don't think there is one former Patriots player that would move the needle with the UNC football team other than Tom Brady, Chad Ochocinco, maybe Randy Moss.
Chad Ochocinco is such a funny one to throw in.
Yeah, I know.
It's the
but
best
he's also very prominent out there with his podcast and all that kind of stuff.
It's the best quarterback of all time. Very kind of cautiously, being very aware that it's probably better than this. A top 3 wide receiver of all time, or Chad Ochocinco. We talked with Will Hardy, a safety for UNC, and he was pretty excited to have had Stephon Gilmore come by and talk to the team.
Yeah.
So I think if it's in your position, you would be jacked up by really anybody that's been like a Pro Bowler. I don't know how excited like an offensive guard would be to hear from Ty Law, but I'm sure the corners would love to hear from somebody like Ty Law. So I hear what you're saying, but also, NFL players to college football players, they do carry a bit of knowledge that you're interested in gleaning from them. So there's a difference there.
All right, this one comes from, you guys had a conversation yesterday about the Carolina Panthers defense and the lack of depth, or perceived lack of depth on the team. What you want to know? There's lack of depth on that defense. So specifically for the defense, this one comes from Stephen Bailey on our YouTube. If we allow 30 points against the pitiful Jags, then it's time for Ejiro Evero to go. Just plain and simple.
I'm fine with being kind of at your wit's end with Evero. The defenses have not been good the past couple of years. I'm fine with even putting 30 points as like some kind of a ceiling that you want a lid that you want to put on opposing offenses. Jacksonville's got some talent though.
Oh yeah.
I'm not, and Liam Cohen, at least last year, was a pretty good offensive coordinator.
For Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
So he's faced this defense a couple times.
Brian Thomas Jr. is good. Trevor Lawrence is potential still, which is crazy because he's one of the highest paid players in the league. And Travis Hunter is good. And Brenton Strange is emerging. And their running backs, one of them has to be good. Which, by the way, somebody did get to me with what they think the emojis for Tank Bigsby.
Okay.
Earlier today, a ESPN reporter, Michael DeRocco, tweeted, Jacksonville running back Travis Etienne Jr. did not speak to the media after today's practice because he was being treated for cramps, per the team.
Okay.
And then Tank Bigsby put a bunch of uneasy emoji faces and then a Pinocchio nose as if... So this is not reported like it's definitely what it's about, but there's some hypothesizing going on that it's saying that guy isn't really cramping.
Just an excuse not to talk to the media?
Or perhaps maybe he's being traded.
Oh.
So it's kind of like we pulled him from the game. You know, every once in a while, right at the deadline in like the NHL, suddenly someone will be like, you know, he's not going to play tonight. He's just dealing with some things. And then 2 days later, he's traded. Some are saying that might be a similar situation, but that's not me saying it. That's just what somebody is saying.
Okay. All right, this one on that same video about the defensive depth for the Carolina Panthers. Clark Frazier says, we don't even know if the starters are any good, let alone the bench.
I would say this. Here's my concern about the depth with the Panthers. We don't even know if the starters are any good yet. We know the backups aren't. Like, I'm fearing more of what I know than if they were still up in the air, then I could be down. I could be like, let's find out. I'm not like, there's a 50-50 chance here. It's a grab bag. I'm worried that we're going to be very aware if a starter gets hurt on the defense, that the person coming in is going to make them take a couple steps back. That's what I'm worried about.
All right. You also had a conversation yesterday, speaking with the Carolina Panthers. You had a conversation yesterday about how the offense for the Carolina Panthers in their preseason game on Friday against Cleveland did what they were supposed to do. They did their job overall.
Some of them, yes.
Yeah, for the most part. This one comes from To Me. Just To Me. I feel nothing but good about Bryce Young after that first preseason game. The first drive was his first legit drive in over half a year, and really the worst play was caused by the backup left guard, who was actually a third-string left guard, getting blown by. The second drive looked straight out of Week 18. It was awesome to see he hasn't lost a step and can build off of where he left off.
I think towards the end of that segment, I made this same point, but I'll do it one more time. It is important to remember the Brown starters did not play. Right? The touchdown to Jalen Coker, it's an awesome play. It looked very 2018 or Week 18 Bryce Young. The two edge rushers ran into each other. They both kind of beat their guy and then bonked into each other, and limbs were flying all over the place. If that's Myles Garrett, I'm not sure it ends the same. Or if it does, that just means Bryce Young's the degree of difficulty, the challenge for Bryce to pull off that play with Myles Garrett on the field is much higher. So it's better than not looking good against the Browns backups. But I'm just a little bit with the exceptionality there.
All right, back on Thursday last week, you and I had a conversation about UNC football remaining a mystery. Really, this was with Bill Belichick. Just a mystery this upcoming season. Again, we just don't know. And this one comes from Josh Aaron, our YouTube. Why is this a surprise? This is Bill Belichick's style. He has kept most info under wraps his entire coaching career. It's one of his strengths.
Yes and no. I feel like I'm trying to think back, like I'm trying to do the time machine thing here. I think we usually knew like the nuts and bolts of what the Patriots were doing, right? There was very rarely a time where, you know, oh, we thought they were going to be a running team and they threw for fun. No, it's like we kind of knew what they were. We knew who the main characters were. We knew who the better players were. This year, like, we don't know anything. We don't know starters. We don't know like who their best players are going to be. We don't know who their main target earners are going to be. Like, at least most years with the Patriots, during the early part, it was like, you know, you had Brady, you had a running game, you had certain defensive players that were great. During the later years, it was like Brady, Gronk, Edelman. Like, you knew that. So,
but again, he had been there for a long time.
Yeah, there were only a few years where there was true, like, I wonder what the Patriots are going to do. I can't really remember a team of any variety where there was this much. Actually, you know what? Maybe the first year Deion was at Colorado, where they completely turned over the roster. Some guys came with Jackson State. You didn't really know. It was very interesting but unknown. I think that's probably the best example here. I'm not saying it's going to be bad. Don't get me wrong. It's a grab bag. I'm saying it could be anything. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is a little feedback frenzy. As always, we very appreciate everybody that interacts with us in any way online. Social media, YouTube comments, anyway, and we do try to bring those conversations on air. And I'll even say this. Even if your comment wasn't chosen for like a feedback frenzy to be read, verbatim and given, your handle on air, sometimes if there's a great debate or a lot of feedback in one particular area, we'll just have that conversation. That'll be like a segment on air. That'll be one of the takes we explore on air. So we are legitimately listening and reading everything you guys post, and we greatly appreciate it. And with that being said, I would greatly appreciate it if you listen to what I have to tell you now. Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending and Gordon Miller. My mom is traveling today, so we were talking about the flight booking process, and she was complaining about the costs and the fees, the nickel and diming, where you click on, I want a ticket for this price, and then yes, I have one bag. Yes, I would like to have a short layover. Yes, yes, and then by the end, it's like, wait, that's 3 times the price I clicked on it. It's all those hidden costs and fees. Well, Miller Lending knows sometimes that happens when you're getting a mortgage as well. You do all this thought on how much you can afford and what you want your monthly payment to be, and then you show up at closing, and you got this cost, and you got closing costs, and you got this hidden surcharge, and you got this hidden fee, and you're like, wait a second, I didn't plan for all this money to be coming out of my pocket as well. Well, Miller Lending takes all of that, poof, disappears. No costs, no fees, no closing costs, no hidden surcharges, no third-party fees, none of it. And they don't just wrap it up somewhere else and call it something else. Zero means zero. You don't get all that, wait a second, this is way more than I thought it was when I clicked on it. You don't get that feeling, which is a good feeling to avoid. All you have to do is call up Miller Lending, let them talk through your situation with you, and they can explain how their no closing cost loan has been working for decades right here in the area, locally owned in Cary. The number to call is 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We'll take a break. When we come back, starting 5 time. Don't go anywhere.
Move your sports day forward.
The reality of how to fill time as an unemployed former football coach have taken the spotlight, and it's predictable. Jimbo Fisher wants to coach again just weeks after taking an ACC TV gig, and John Gruden collects swag while telling everyone he wants a college shot in the SEC. Old habits are hard to break, but really, who's going to say no to either guy?
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Progressive knows not all rides are smooth. Meet Peter. He loves his motorcycle. What he doesn't love is wind. Which is ironic, because wind is a big part of the whole wind-in-your-face motorcycle cliche. But nobody ever tells you how relentless a strong crosswind is, or the cliche wouldn't exist. Not every ride is smooth, but Progressive has your back. Get a quote to see if you can save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger, who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it.
That one back, that one going, gone!
Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. Our showers are coming to an end. Overnight, mostly cloudy skies. A small chance for a shower, the low 73. More showers and storms for your Wednesday. There's a low-end flooding threat as well. The high temperature, about 85.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell today, up 483 points to 44,458.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the starting five. It's 5 o'clock. We do it every day. And we start with number 5 every day.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
USA Today made their preseason win-loss predictions. I do love the idea of, like, you know, USA Today, ESPN, these big behemoths in the media world. They do the exact same thing we do before every season. They look at a schedule, they go W, L, W, L, maybe. That'll be a 50-50 ball. W. Like, they just go down and pick winners and losers. Well, USA Today did that for everyone in the NFL every game all year. And they put out their results. The Panthers, second in the NFC South, 8-9 record. Second only to Tampa Bay, who has a 9-8 record. Now, there's something that is said often about football, right? Ball's shaped funny, can bounce in any direction, right? If you're second in your division at 8-9 to a 9-8 team, you are one rain game. You are one oops, it slipped through my hands away from winning your division. Now, obviously, we got by the way, Falcons finished third in their prediction, 7-10. Saints bringing up the rear, 2-15. That's first pick status for the Saints. There's obviously, this is not gospel, right? The USA Today is making a prediction. They're not fortune tellers, and they can't control this sort of thing. But this builds into one of my themes of this entire offseason for the Panthers, which is this offseason, if it's going to work with Dan Morgan and Dave Canales leading the way, if it's going to work with Bryce Young as your quarterback and Derek Brown and J.C. Horn as the core on your defense, this offseason is the pivot point. This is the point where guys like me stop saying, do you really want to win Week 18 or do you want the higher draft pick? Right? It's no longer about acquiring the highest draft pick. It's no longer like, well, once you're mathematically eliminated, maybe it's time to shut it down. And it's now, no, full steam ahead, go try to win. Everything that everybody's been arguing with me about when I'm like, a top 5 pick hits way more often than a top 15 pick. When I was making all those arguments and people were telling me it's about winning culture. You have to build the cult. Now that starts. Now you have your guys, right? You have your quarterback, you have your corner, you have your defensive line, you have your number 1 wide receiver, you hope Iniki Ekwonu, you have your franchise left tackle, like you have the dudes. Now it is about putting everything around them, pedal to the floor, because if you're within one game of winning the division, if that's what the expectations are, if that's what the predictions are, we talked about it earlier. There is a bye week, what is it, week 14 for the Panthers?
Yeah.
Then you have 4 games consecutively, 3 of them in the division. You're going to be playing some really important football down the stretch.
Two of them against the aforementioned Tampa Bay Buccaneers, by the way.
2 of them.
Yeah.
Even better. Like, you could go into the final part of your season knowing if we win those 2 games, we're in the postseason. There's no talk about the future. There's everything is still on the table. right? Then you start getting into the people like me saying, once you get into the playoffs, it's anybody. I mean, wild card teams have won the Super Bowl before. Just ask Eli Manning. Like there's a ton of opportunities there. This offseason is the pivot point where it went from acquiring assets, trying to find your cornerstones, to, all right, it's time to go, right? Now it's about a couple more wins each year, at least until you're a contender. It's exciting, isn't it? Isn't that exciting? Isn't it? You no longer have to talk yourself into how excited you are by how good the draft class looks. We've all been there, right? It's like week 8, and already you're watching like, I'm not staying up late for no reason. I heard there's a good wide receiver for Cal. Like, oh no, the Washington State offense is really good. I'm just gonna hang out and stay in tonight and watch Washington State against Arizona State. Heard there might be a tight end worth taking. Like, it's no longer that. You don't have to talk yourself into it. You can be excited about your team that plays Sundays. More likely 1 o'clock on Sundays, looking at the Panthers' schedule. Maybe one day you'll get more primetime games. There's a Monday nighter in there. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
NC State's being eerily quiet this college football preseason, don't you think? Don't you think? I'm only half kidding. Like, obviously, something's fishy up. There's a Kevin Hart stand-up, and I won't do the stand-up for you because I can't. I'm not Kevin Hart. But he does a stand-up on how dads watch kids versus on how moms watch kids. And he's like, basically, dads just sit on the couch and listen for stuff. And you're just like, better not hear that toilet. Better not hear that toilet.
Better not be in that toilet.
Yeah, it's better than me.
Thank you.
But it's I almost feel like that's how some people are paying attention to like college football preseason. It's like, I'm just gonna sit here and see how much news comes in front of my face, right? I'm gonna watch SportsCenter. I'm gonna scroll on Twitter a little bit. I'm just gonna see how much I learn about these teams. And like 2 weeks in, I feel like I know a ton about the ins and outs and comings and goings at UNC camp. I mean, in a weird way, I feel like I know everything about Texas. I've learned against my will quite a bit about Clemson. Not much has just been forced to me about NC State. Now, I've seeked out some things for NC State, but they're being exceptionally low-key. And this ends up being, speaking of kind of themes of the offseason, my theme for the Panthers was this was the pivot point. My theme for NC State is very much this season is a reaction to last season. And I mean, very candidly, Dave Doran kind of opened up about it at ACC Kickoff right here on this show when we interviewed him. And I said, did you learn anything about all those transfers you brought in last year? And he was like, yeah, we brought in too many. He called it almost a waterfall, where they got one guy that they felt they needed, and then that guy said, I've got a friend that wants to come here too. All right, well, let's get him. And that person had 2 others, and then that person, and then you didn't want to turn down talent. They're all gifted individual athletes, and you just kept bringing them in. And he said, candidly, it was too many. So this year, not nearly as many transfers, not for sure nearly as many splash transfers, and it's more about building the chemistry with guys that were already there. Right, couple of interior promotions on the coaching staff, right? They kept it in-house. Much more about stability. So it's and last training camp, they were the belle of the ball. Everybody wanted to see, what does Noah Rogers look like? Everybody wanted to see, how good is Casey Concepcion going to be this year? Everybody wanted to see, does Grayson McCall have the mullet still? Right? Everybody wanted all that. This year, it's very low-key. You know what's the only thing that's been forced to me that I learned against my will about NC State? Dave Doran hit a hole-in-one a week before camp. That I have learned about multiple times. I didn't seek that out, and I know all about it. But everything else I know about him, I had to search for. I had to go read an article. I had to go do something, which is interesting. I think it's a reaction to last year. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
On 2nd and goal, it's Murphy running left. Cuts back inside. He'll take it in for the touchdown. Malik Murphy with his legs gives the Blue Devils the lead.
You want a theme for Duke this offseason? Duke football? Business as usual, maybe? No news is good news? This is my if Duke football were a person in the office. Do you know a person, not the show The Office, like in a stereotypical office setting? They're the living the dream guy. Every day you walk by him in the hallway. Hey, how's it going? Living the dream.
Dude, that's me. I say that.
You say living the dream?
I do. I say living the dream one day at a time.
There was one of my first jobs. I was driving a truck, and there was someone in the dispatch that every day would answer the phone, and there's a bunch of cubicles and stuff. And hello. Oh, living the dream. That's because you only heard one side of the conversation. 10 minutes later, picks up the phone. Hello. Oh, living the dream. It's just not good, not bad, right? It's consistent. It's my day is the same every day. Duke football this offseason, they've now had 3 straight years, 8 or 9 wins. They're returning multiple preseason All-Americans on different lists. They have a quarterback that they're confident in, that they paid a whole bunch of money for. They have an offensive line that they trust, headlined by an All-American in Brian Parker. They have 2 corners that they're very excited about that allows Manny Diaz to be more creative as a defensive play caller. It's not that there's nothing going on. It's just business as usual. Sometimes like this, maybe this is just me, but got a couple kids, got a job. You don't catch up with your friends as much, maybe your college buddies, but when you do, it's always like, all right, man, give me the scouting report. Give me the big things. What's going on in your life? How's it going? Sometimes I feel almost disappointed that I'm like, dude, exact same stuff that was going on last time I talked to you. I know it's been a month, but you could copy and paste the bullet points from last time we talked. But that's not a bad thing, right? It's like, no, job's going well. Kids are doing well. We're having a good time. We're like, it's good. That's Duke right now. How's training camp? Oh, we're excited about the offense with Darian Mensah. Chandler Rivers is getting a whole bunch of accolades. Offensive line is going to be steady. Coaching staff's pretty good. It's not bad. It's just the same as when we talked after spring ball. It's right there. We added a few wide receivers. Got one from, Oklahoma, one from Harvard. Oh, nice. All right, man. Well, I'll call you again in about 6 weeks. Call me when games start.
See you later.
Yeah, call me when games start. Then your wife. Oh, did you talk to so-and-so? Are they seeing anybody? Oh, I don't do this. I asked him if anything was up, and he said no. That's all I got. It's different when dudes catch up. But seriously, the splash for Duke was Darian Mensah. But at this point, is there any conversation we can have about Darian Mensah that we haven't had already before they get out there and play games? He's coming from Tulane. He very low-star recruit. He worked out with the same quarterback coach as Cam Ward this offseason. He took his receivers to Tampa for a workout week. He has a little bit of mobility. He was wildly efficient on a little bit less volume. Like, we've had months to break down Darian Mensah's impact on Duke. I guess we could rehash all that. I'm sure at times we will. But really, it's just call me when games start. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the 2. Davis, 1 crossover, 2 mile-long triple. Are you kidding me? That was from downtown Cincinnati.
Hubert Davis, head coach UNC Basketball, was quoted in an article by Brett Friedlander on Hoops HQ, talking about a couple of highly rated freshmen, Derek Dixon and Isaiah Dennis. The quote is, "You can see it in the way they compete and play. It wouldn't surprise me that by the time they leave Carolina, it wouldn't surprise me to see both of their jersey numbers up in the rafters." End quote. Dennis, you coached some college sports.
I did. 9 total seasons.
Did you ever have a recruit that you felt that bullish about, that you're like, oh, this one? Oh, this? Yeah, she's going to be the best player in franchise history.
No, I never felt anything like that. I definitely felt some players that when we recruited them, I was like, okay, this person has first team all conference written all over them if they do everything they're supposed to do. But I never told them that directly or made it public.
It's like I remember when certain freshmen walked on campus and it was like, oh, yep, you're a little different here. You get to skip the scout team. Come on over to our side of the field. But there's a difference between saying like, oh, I think you can be an early starter at the University of Delaware, or oh, I think you can be a legit starting. I was going to use some lacrosse lingo. I don't have attack.
There you go.
There you go. You can be like a goal scoring attack for us. Like it's difference between saying that and saying, wouldn't surprise me if your jersey is up there next to James Worthy and Sam and Tyler Hansbrough and all these guys that are some of the best college basketball players in the history of the game, which is essentially what Hubert Davis just said there. And then it comes out that a handful of years ago, Hubert Davis, before the freshman seasons of DeMarco Dunn and Dontrez Styles, said, by the time that they leave Carolina, they're going to be two of the best players ever to play in Carolina history. I really believe that. End quote. DeMarco Dunn and Dontrez Styles did not end up two of the better players in Carolina history. Both really never got their careers off the ground at Carolina. Dontrez Styles, after a couple transfers, finished playing against Carolina for NC State. That's an interesting decision by Hubert Davis to go the direction he went there. And I made that, what I just said, I very intentionally chose the words, that it's an interesting decision. Because if you're the head coach at North Carolina, saying that is that's going to be aggregated. Right? People are going to have reactions. It's funny when you talk to an athlete or a coach at a very high-profile situation, they will say after an answer sometimes, well, that's what's going to get picked up, right? As soon as they say a phrase, they're like, yep, there it is. That's the one everybody's going to talk about. They'll almost identify it in real time. As soon as Hubert Davis says that, he knows that's going to happen. Before he said it, he knows we're going to be doing segments on our show about it. So I think it was intentional. It's an interesting decision to try to motivate your players by heaping expectations on them like that. What number was that? 2? Let's get to number 1. Earlier today, the Carolina Panthers had some media availabilities, including one with their defensive coordinator, Ejiro Evero, which is ironic because during our Feedback Frenzy segment, whatever it was, like 20 minutes ago, there was a comment from a Panther fan on one of our videos about how this fan is already setting ultimatums for Evero. Either you keep the Jacksonville Jaguars under 30 points week 1, or Evero's gots to go, is essentially what this commenter said. And I don't think they're all that, right? I don't think they're all 30 points against the Jags. But I would not be surprised if an overwhelming majority of the diehard Panther fans out there do have some line in the sand drawn, some threshold that either the Panthers defense is going to be X amount good over X amount of games, or they would be interested in moving on from Evero. That's a long way to say there's probably a hot seat element to the defensive coordinator for the Panthers this year. So what he talks about and what he's doing to make this defense better could essentially decide the future of defensive leadership for the Carolina Panthers. And we have the audio for you, at least some of it right here. Let's hear what Evero had to say on what he's seen from his outside linebacker group.
The challenge with that position, especially in the spring, is that, you just can't have the contact that you need to really evaluate them, to really see how they're developing. And so it's been really, really good to see the pads on. We're going against tight ends. We're going against tackles. We're seeing the physical aspect of things. And so, and since the first day we put on the pads up to our padded practice yesterday, there's been a lot of growth and a lot of improvement. And so that's what we're looking for there. And so, yeah, you're right. There's a diverse group of guys. There's some guys that are pass guys, some guys that may be more run guys. But just the collective group, I'm really happy about them and really happy about how they're progressing.
Now, in the Panthers scheme, it's important to remember that the outside linebackers mostly fall under the term edge rusher. It's a scheme thing.
These guys are asked to drop into coverage at times. They're not just traditional defensive ends, hand in the dirt, and that's all they do is get after the QB.
True, but I the success and or failure of a Pat Jones, of a definitely the two young guys, Scorton, Princely, and Monmielen, are how much are you disrupting the quarterback? If at the end of the year, like any of those guys have no sacks, but you're like, but they were pretty good in coverage, I'm going to go, well, then we should play you off ball and bring somebody else in to rush the passer.
Better have 3 picks.
Yeah, exactly. You better be J.C. Horn out there locking down half the field, because that's where a lot of the edge rushing comes from. And then the defensive ends in this system. I mean, Derek Brown is technically a defensive end in a lot of ways for this scheme, and his career high in sacks is 3. A lot of times we think defensive ends where the edge rushing comes from in this system. A lot of it comes from the outside linebackers. Jadeveon Clowney was an outside linebacker last year for the Panthers.
Yeah.
So there you go. And he did drop occasionally, but that's the curveball, not the main deal. I like the vibes of that locker room for outside linebackers. I like that some of the young guys have said like they're coming for Pat Jones' job, and Pat Jones handled that like a veteran mentor should, and encouraged his young guys, and he also wants to keep his job. DJ Wanham is another veteran there that's steady Eddie when healthy. I do think one of the things that this defense needs is a few spark plugs, right? You steady Eddie is nice in a lot of ways, but you need somebody that brings that it factor. And if either of the young guys bring that, Scorton or Ubamielen, I think then once you identify it, you get them on the field a ton. Even if you're giving up a little bit of, I don't want to say trust, but like when you have a veteran out there, you're probably just a little bit more comfortable. If you get a rookie out there, which makes you a little bit, let's see what he does. But occasionally he's making a big play. He's making a strip sack. He's doing something special. I think you need to take that chance. Next up from Evero, how he feels about the free safety spot, which is one of the glaring, like, I wonder what they're going to do here points on the defensive depth chart. Here's Evero.
I feel good. I mean, those guys they're doing a heck of a job. They're improving. They're growing. Coach Hill is doing a great job with them. And just kind of seeing what Damani is doing, seeing what Latham is doing, seeing what Nick Scott is doing. I mean, it's a lot of excellent work and growth from their standpoint. And so it's great. Competition makes the best of everybody, and so we're seeing that come to life.
Can I play dollar store psychologist here? Dime store? I don't know what the saying is. Do you put anything in the fact that Nick Scott was listed 3rd out of those guys, and he's at the top of the depth chart on the unofficial depth chart? Because, obviously he's just talking there. And when he thought about the free safety position, the first name that popped into his mind was Damani Richardson. The second name that popped into his mind was the rookie Latham Ransom. And then the third mind was, and also Nick Scott. I'm turning on this a little bit. I think eventually the 2 starting safeties will be Merrick and Ransom.
Yeah, I think Ransom eventually gets to that point.
It's just a matter of safety is a position where you do need to fully trust them. And also, Merrick is getting in a new system, so I think it might start with Nick Scott, and Scott can communicate with Merrick a little bit to make sure everybody's on the same page. And then once Merrick is locked in, then you can move to Richardson or Ransom, because then he can be the one that's kind of passing along the information. But we'll see. I'm still fairly nervous about the free safety position, but I've already registered that worry. One last question, one last piece of audio here for you. Evero was asked if J.C. Horn will follow the top wide receiver around this year, which is something many of the best corners in the league do. Here's what Evero said.
I am not sure about that right now. Not into the game planning part of it. So we're just trying to develop our skills, but we'll see that. We'll see about that coming soon, I'm sure.
All right, I'm going to give you the answer that I wanted Evero to give. Dennis, can you ask me the question?
Tim, will you allow J.C. Horn to travel with the opposing team's top wide receiver, depending on where he is on the field this upcoming season?
Yes. That's the answer I wanted. Yes. For this reason, if he's not following the best receiver around, they can render J.C. Horn moot. Right? I've had this conversation a few times where if your best player on defense is in your secondary, it's not like offense, right? If the Cowboys only have CeeDee Lamb, right, which at times last year it felt like they did, they can just force him the ball. They can make him matter by throwing him the football. They can bring the action to their best player. If your best player on defense is in the secondary and you're not having them follow the best player on the other team or the best receiver on the other team, they can just go, all right, Horn's on the left, I'm going to throw to the right. And then Horn never has an opportunity to impact the game, and you're not even taking, like, it's not like a chess move, right? Like, you took my queen, I took your queen, fair trade, right? If Horn is following around your best receiver and you're just like, we're avoiding Horn, then you're also avoiding your best receiver. That's that. All right, you took my rook, I took your rook, fair trade. But if you just play him elsewhere, they're like, all right, we'll put our third wide receiver over there. We'll trade you a pawn for your queen, right? And then ours will be on the other side catching passes on Mike Jackson, or we'll try to scheme him up onto whoever's playing free safety. Like we'll like it you have to have him follow. Unless you have like four studs in the secondary, in which case you're good. But the Panthers don't have that right now. Not yet, at least. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. If you want to test Corey Thornton's confidence, put him as the other corner and then have J.C. Horn not follow the best wide receiver. He's just going to get a steady diet of Mike Evans and Chris Olave and Drake London. Like, that's just in the division. Let him follow. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we grab some numbers game contestants, Dennis has something he'd like to tell you about.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for Raleigh Weight Loss Center. Guys, listen up. If you're struggling with if you're struggling with weight, like I have, or bounce from one fad diet to the next, you definitely need to listen to this. I can proudly say, thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center, in just over 2 weeks, I've lost 23 pounds. That's legit. That's not on-air math. That's actually stepping on the scale, and that's actually doing the math before I even walked in the studio. Yeah, 23 pounds down in literally 2.5 weeks.
With my math, that's 45 pounds.
It might be, actually. And hopefully that happens to me as well. And that's just the start. The program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center helps reset your metabolism naturally. There's no steroids, no shots. We're not doing HGH. It's just your body losing a half pound to a pound per day and doing it in a way where you can maintain that goal weight. So many of the fad diets, you might lose a bunch of weight early on, but then guess what? You're just putting it right back on. It's frustrating when you feel like you're doing the right things with zero results. Trust me, I've been there. But this is the lightest I really have been in years. My clothes fit better. I have more energy. Even when I'm active and playing sports, I can feel less weight on my knees and ankles when I'm playing hockey. And also, I'm just simply sleeping better as well. Visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com or give them a call, 919-897-7506. Again, I'll give you the phone number one more time, 919-897-7506, RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. One more time with that phone number, 919-897-7506. Results may vary.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We need numbers game contestants. 919-860-5326. Call in right now if you want to play the numbers game. And if you win the numbers game, earn yourself a $25 gift card to Sharky's. Sharky's with back-to-back-to-back-to-back wins for best wings in the triangle. Voted best sports bar, quite possibly the best neighborhood bar in the world. Sharky's. A $25 gift card goes to whichever of you can win the numbers game. We need two contestants. Call in now. 919-860-5326. Numbers game next.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I know the hurricane season came to an end. Another year with a loss to Florida in the Eastern Conference Finals, 2 of the last 3. But it's been a great year, and it's going to be a great summer with all that cap room the Hurricanes have. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, from free agency to trades to the draft. We'll have player interviews, special sit-down with Rod Brindamore that he doesn't even know about yet. He'll do it, don't worry. Just stay tuned to the Canes Corner podcast on YouTube. Search Canes Corner, and wherever wherever you get your podcasts.
Is your whole home operating at peak performance? With Newcomb & Company, your independent Trane dealer, proudly serving our community for over 70 years. As a Comfort contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs, including repairs and replacements for faucets, toilets, piping, garbage disposals, water heaters, drain cleaning, and more. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
You put sunscreen on when you go out in the sun. Did you know that the sun could hurt your car, too? It's true. Keep cool this summer and protect the interior from fading and cracking with a custom window tint from Soundstation and Security. The sun's harmful UV rays can also hurt your paint on the exterior. That's why Soundstation and Security offers custom ceramic coating. Think of it as a little sunscreen with Soundstation and Security. 2 locations in downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
Are you in charge of running the building maintenance plays at your workplace? If you're facing roofing issues, you gotta get RoofWorks into the game. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. You can count on us to be your MVP when it comes to taking care of your commercial building roof. We handle leaky roof repair, coatings, total replacements, upfits, and we even do commercial gutters. Let us show you what a valuable addition we are to your building maintenance team. Contact us today online at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
You worked hard for your 401k, but if you've left your job, your money might be sitting in the wrong hands. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and it's very possible that the 401k that you have had for years has hidden fees and limited investment choices. But if you're no longer with the company, that 401k may be at the mercy of your former employer. All of these things could be costing you thousands. Rolling over your 401k into an IRA can provide better investment options that align with your long-term goals. At Trajan Wealth, we're fiduciary advisors that are held to a higher standard with no hidden agenda and no hidden fees. Don't let your retirement dollars sit in an old plan, and don't roll it over to your new plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. Call Trajan today, 919-200-4000. That's 919-200-4000.
Advisory services are offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Brandon, you better call back in quick. The numbers game. It's time to play the numbers game here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. We have Anthony and Clinton waiting patiently to play. Brandon was on line 2 and then he dropped. So we're opening up the phone lines. Whoever wants a couple of, or not a couple of, but a $25 gift card to Sharky's, call in now, 919-860-5326. You'll have to win the numbers game to get it, but you miss 100% of the numbers game shots you don't take. All right, there you go. Dennis is grabbing the phone already. No telling if it's Brandon or not. He either got replaced, like Xavier Legette getting ejected, only to have Jalen Coker play great in his stead. Yep, it is Melanie in Raleigh. Melanie gets in on the action as a late addition. So we have Anthony and Clinton, and we have Melanie, in Raleigh. We'll start with Anthony and Clinton. Anthony, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to ask both contestants the same question. Dennis is going to pick his favorite answer, and that person will get to go first. The question for today is, I don't know if you've heard the giant news in the music world. Taylor Swift is releasing a new album. So my question for you is, if any artist, dead or alive, band, singular artist, whatever, announced they were putting out a new album, which one would get you the most excited? If we just got a random drop of news that blank is putting out a new album, which one would be top of your list?
Mine for sure would be Prince.
Prince?
Yes, sir.
Pretty good one. Pretty good one. We'll see if Melanie can one up you. But Dennis, do you have any follow-up questions on the Prince album?
No questions.
No follow-ups. Anthony, stay on hold. We'll see if you get to go first. Melanie and Raleigh, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Melanie, the same question to you. In honor of Taylor Swift saying she's putting out a new album, If you could have any band, any artist, dead or alive, just randomly drop news, hey, we're putting out a new album and it's due XYZ day, which band or artist would get you the most excited?
Let's go. I'm going to go Hoobastank.
You're a big Hoobastank fan?
Honestly, it's been a long time, so I feel like that one would be a good one for me.
All right. So, hey, thank you very much, Melanie. I think you could have given me 500 guesses. I'm not sure I would have got to Hoobastank.
Neither would I.
So, Dennis, you have to now choose between the musical stylings of Prince or Hoobastank.
I have to go with Prince on this one. Hoobastank is quite the outlier, but I got to go Prince.
I will say this. I respect the heck out of Melanie for going Hoobastank. Like, I'm big on there's no, like, guilty pleasures and stuff. You like the music. You like the music. Who cares if anyone else does? Prince probably sold a few more records than Hoobastank.
Probably one or two more.
But I like that Melanie went out on a limb with it. Anthony and Clinton will get to go first. Melanie will have a chance to go. I'm trying to think of the song. The Reason? Is that what the name of the song was?
I think so.
Melanie will have a chance to go after waiting on hold for a second. Anthony, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes, sir.
All right. The categories are NFL, so many Johnsons, all players with the last name Johnson. NFL, ACC Pro since 2020, all players that are have played in the NFL since 2020 and played in college in the Atlantic Coast Conference. NBA short names, players whose first and last names combine for 9 letters or less, or NHL Hurricanes only.
Let me go NFL Johnson.
All right. All players with the last name Johnson. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No, sir.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Calvin Johnson, Detroit Lions.
81.
Correct. DJ Johnson, Carolina Panthers.
56.
Incorrect. Chris Johnson, Tennessee Titans.
28.
Correct. Rudy Johnson, Cincinnati Bengals.
28.
Incorrect. DJ Johnson, Carolina Panthers.
Skip.
Juwan Johnson, New Orleans Saints.
17.
Incorrect. Rudy Johnson, Cincinnati Bengals.
27.
Incorrect. DJ Johnson, Carolina Panthers.
56. 58.
Incorrect. Juwan Johnson, New Orleans Saints.
Rudy Johnson, I can't guess.
DJ Johnson is 52. So you were in the 50s. You were in the right spot. So much so that Dennis may have thought you got that first one right.
I was trigger happy.
That's confidence. He was showing confidence in you. Rudy Johnson with the Bengals, 32. So you're in the running back numbers, a little off there. Juwan Johnson, 83, tight end for the Saints. But you did get Calvin Johnson. You got Megatron. You did get CJ 2K. Chris Johnson with 28. So we'll see if 2 is a good enough number to get you the win, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, stay on the line. Melanie, you are up. Are you ready to pick a category?
I am ready.
All right, the categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players in the NFL since 2020 that played in the Atlantic Coast Conference in college. NBA short names, players whose first and last names combine for 9 letters or less, or NHL Hurricanes only.
NHL Hurricanes only.
All right. All right. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There will be 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need them. And just so you know, I will say the team in this category, even though we know the team in this category, just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other contestant. You do need 3 for the win. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Logan Stankoven, Carolina Hurricanes.
22.
Correct. Brent Burns, Carolina Hurricanes.
8.
Correct. Clark Bishop, Carolina Hurricanes.
54.
Say it again.
54.
Incorrect. Craig Adams, Carolina Hurricanes.
27.
Correct. Joseph Melikar, Carolina Hurricanes.
Skip.
Clark Bishop, Carolina Hurricanes.
56.
Incorrect. Joseph Melikar, Carolina Hurricanes.
Skip.
You can't skip it.
7.
That's the move. Once you use your 1 skip, the move is to just throw out numbers because that's how you get to the next number.
Same thing.
But you did get 3, and that's enough for the win. Congratulations.
Woo.
Hey,
Awesome.
Here it is. Enjoy some Hoobastank.
There we go.
Logan Stankoven was 22. Burns, 8. Clark Bishop, 64 is what we were looking for. You said 54, which is why it kind of sounded similar. Craig Adams, we would have accepted 27 or 28. Melikar, 22 is the number we were looking for those of you playing at home. But again, Melanie, you just earned a $25 gift card to Sharky's. Congrats.
Thank you.
And you earned some Hoobastank. Stay on the line. Dennis grabs the info that he needs to make sure to get your prize.
A sentence you never thought you'd say in your life. You've earned some Hoobastank.
You've earned some Hoobastank. If I'm not mistaken, was there like a controversial VMAs performance or something where maybe he was under the influence? I have no
idea.
Bumping into my memory somehow. I don't know if I've thought about Hoobastank in a long time. But Melanie, thank you for playing. Hopefully you had some fun. Congratulations on the win. All right. There you go. I'm telling you, Hoobastank threw me off my game a little bit there. It rattled me. Hopefully Dennis can keep it under control because he's got something he needs to tell you.
I was ready to play Purple Rain. If Anthony
options
had one.
for Purple Rain or Hoobastank.
Yeah, it's what it is. Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Are you maxed out on credit cards? Maybe you're struggling with high-interest debt. You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client recently just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. It's a massive turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Here's the thing about your home equity. It is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Get debt relief now, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It will be back with USA Today predicts the Carolina Panthers to win 8 games this year. Are they out over their skis? Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
The latest Browns hope is Shador. Before then, it was Baker Mayfield, it was Johnny Manziel. At the time they were with the Cleveland Browns, I think neither of them were ready for the stardom and the roller coaster ride that being the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns comes with the way that this guy is.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone, available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 Bird Dogs for just $5 or 2 Bird Dog Combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Grown-ups, don't go back to school. Go forward through school into your future as an IT professional. Whether you're starting out, switching careers, or a veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you get into IT in just a few short months with no prior experience. So take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Your rewarding career in IT awaits. That's mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the VA benefits.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You know, I get it. This Hoobastank, I get it now. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It's back, by the way. Second annual Numbers Game live. Presented by Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill. Takes place Thursday, August 21st, where the players that scored perfect scores on the Numbers Game right here on this show, right? Like today, showed how tough it is, right? Numbers Game, it's not easy to go 5 for 5, but if you do it, you earn yourself an invitation to the Numbers Game live, where all of the perfect score contestants come together to settle for once and for all a year, because it's an annual thing. Who is the best Numbers Game contestant? It's all happening at Hilton Raleigh North Hills, a fabulous hotel for all your needs. And you can watch along, meaning even if you're not a perfect score contestant, we want you to participate. Just go on YouTube where we will be live streaming the event. And we want you in the comments. We want you being active, having conversations, and we'll grab the comments, some of them, the best of them, and we'll bring them on air. We'll talk about them. We'll let the contestants hear them. It's a special thanks to Onsite AV, a full-service event production company, for supplying the sights and sounds of Numbers Game live, again, August 21st. Now, we've been talking throughout the day about this USA Today article that came out where they predicted win and loss records for every team in the NFL. For the Panthers, they have them second in the division behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs 9-8, the Panthers 8-9. Hot on their heels, the Falcons third, 7-10, and the Saints bringing up the rear 2-15. We don't have to talk about them very much. Dennis, I want to float some logic by you and see if this tracks with you like I think it's working for me. If you're going to make a prediction like this, what's somebody's record? You're probably not predicting them to hit, like, if everything goes right, their ceiling.
Yeah.
Right? You probably, if, again, not always, but usually it's like, well, I could see them from like 6 wins to 10 wins. I'll pick 8.
Yeah, kind of what's the middle of that range?
Like it's a good compromise almost. Does USA Today think the Panthers might be able to win double-digit games?
Yeah, maybe if again, things break their way. That's the big thing, because you got to look at the Panthers last season, how many games they played in overtime last year, and just how many close losses that they had last year. Again, 1-possession loss to Kansas City, 1-possession loss to Philadelphia. You had an overtime loss to Tampa Bay included in there as well. Like, there's a bunch of close losses in there.
But let me ask you
But there's
this.
also some close overtime wins against some not very good teams, too.
I was just going to say, was that everything going right against the Chiefs and Eagles?
I mean, but that's also part of it. I don't know. I mean,
Maybe.
Xavier Legette comes up with a catch. You might beat the Eagles on the road.
The question that becomes a Xavier Legette question.
Yeah, I know, but
how many times does he make that catch out of 10?
I mean, if everything's going your way, everything's going your way.
The question is, like, 8 wins, I think like, I'm okay with hoping for 8 wins. But if you're predicting 8, I almost feel like then you're hoping for 10 or 11. And now I feel we're getting to the part where it's like, whoa, I don't know if everybody wants to be set up for a rough come down there, right? Like 8 and 9 to me feels, I would say 9 and 8 for sure feels ceiling like.
Yeah.
8 and 9 is nearing where I think like a lot of stuff must have gone their way there, because like even this, if you look at the way they've done these predictions, Tampa 9-8, Panthers 8-9, Falcons 7-10. Saints 2-15. There's a good chance the Saints, if they're 2-15, have gone 0-6 in the division.
Yeah.
For the simple fact of if they're that bad, you would think the team with some familiarity and everything would be able to use that to win games. That means Tampa against everybody else is 7-8. The Panthers are 6-9. And the Falcons would be 5-10 against everybody else. Those teams aren't great there. Like that's like it is, and maybe this is the question. Maybe are my expectations? This is exactly what the question is. Am I not putting enough stock in the NFC South still stinks?
Oh, it definitely still stinks.
Because I look at it like this. I look at it and say, I think Tampa got better from last year to this year. Right? Emeka Egbuka looks like he's a stud. Bucky Irving now no longer has to establish himself as the lead back with the Bucks, which he didn't really get full grasp of the offense till like week 11 last year or something like that. They have some dudes there, and Baker another year building and all those sorts of things. I look at the Falcons. The Falcons to me are boom or bust, right? If Penix is good, I think they could be surprisingly good. If Penix has growing pains, I think they could be surprisingly bad. So there's like I don't know what percentage is there, like a 55% chance they're a tough win. But if like I could see the Panthers getting 8 and maybe more if they can steal a few in their non-division schedule, and the division is absolutely terrible. But am I too close to the NFC South? That's my question.
You're too involved?
Am I looking at it and giving them too much? Oh, I like what they did here. I like what they did here. When in actuality, it's the NFC South is the NFC South, right? If it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. The NFC South, if it stinks like the NFC South and the teams aren't as strong as the NFC South, it's going to be another bad division. In which case, I could see the Panthers overperforming in the win-loss column simply by, if you get 5 or 6 wins in the division, it's kind of easy to get to 8 or 9 games overall.
And 2 of their wins last year were divisional games. Obviously, they had the home win against the Saints, 23-22. They had the game at the end of the season against Atlanta, what they won in overtime as well. They also had a overtime loss, like I said, to Tampa Bay. So, I mean, they easily could win 3-4 games within the division because the division stinks. Let's call it what it is. But I think 8 sound like for this prediction sounds right because I'm in the 7-9 range for the Panthers this season. I think 7-9 is, in my opinion, is the range for the Panthers this season because if the defense can get to 20th in the NFL.
Oh, I've gone all in on 22nd or better.
Yeah, if you can get to that range, like outside of the bottom third of the NFL and kind of creeping towards average, and you expect the offense to improve with what they've added and just the growth, then 7 to 9 wins is the range for this team this upcoming season. But we have seen 8 and 9 win this division before. It's happened.
I just don't. I think it's tough to predict a division to be that bad without knowing. Like a few teams are hit with some key injuries. Like it's tough to win a division below 500.
Oh, but the NFC South has done it.
I know, but
if there's one that can do it, it's the NFC South, baby. Let's go.
They don't. Just to go off what you were saying, though, I was thinking about this the other day. I had a buddy that used to bet on when the Dolphins were dreadful, when they were awful. There were a couple years in a row where their over/under for wins was 4.5. This is back during 16 game schedule, so little made a little bit more sense. But it's 4.5, and they used to bet like a group of them would bet the over, and anytime the Dolphins were in a close game, they would chant 5-win Fins. And it became like a funny bit because, right, they halfway through the season, they'd have like 2 wins, and they're like, we're still alive, 5-win Fins, 5-win Fins. I feel that way talking about the Panthers defense, where like if they're the 7th worst defense in the league at one point in time, I'm going to be going like they just have to get to 10th worst. They just have to get to the 22nd best defense. Like I'm not asking for the world. I'm asking for just slightly better than awful. And then ball control offense, right? If you're a bad defense with a ball control offense, we can hide you a little bit as long as you're not a horrendous defense. That's what I'm looking for from the Panthers. If we're being real, and we're not locking in our win-loss picks right now, maybe I'm being too pessimistic, but I'm more like 6 to 8 wins this year as a range of outcomes.
Yeah, so pretty similar.
Yeah, except when I see an 8 and 9 prediction, I'm like, geez, I feel like that's the ceiling, right? Like I find it very difficult to see them above 500 this year with the way their defense and the way their depth is showing. Obviously, if through the rest of the preseason they give me reason to believe that their depth is improving, or if they give me reason to believe that, quite frankly, they're whoever ends up at a couple key positions on defense starting is better than I thought, then we can have some conversations about boosting that. But I find it so difficult to entertain the thought of them being above 500. Now, if you tell me below 500 might win the division, then I'll be like, yeah, sure, they might win the division. But if that happens, then I'm guessing I don't think they win I'll put it this way. This will be my final roundabout way of closing out this segment. If they are to win more than 8 games, they have to win at least 5 in the division, is kind of the way I'm looking at it. Like, they got to have 2 free bingo squares against the Saints that you win just because the Saints are horrendous. You need to have the Penix experiment go the other way, and you need to split against Tampa. And then we can talk about 9 wins. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That was a lot of numbers I just threw at you. I'm going to do my best to make this very few numbers for you. Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. You don't need to know the number to know that interest rate is higher than I was hoping for in getting my mortgage. Or you definitely don't have to know the number to know I was hoping to not cut that big of a check in closing costs when I got my mortgage. But either way, if that number is too big, you need to call Miller Lending. If interest rates are too high for you right now, well, get a no closing cost loan from Miller Lending, which turns that too big of a number in closing costs and makes it 0. And then you can use those savings to help you eat the loss or make it a bit more palatable to make your monthly payment and then be prepared if and when interest rates drop to refinance. No cost, no fees again. It gives you the flexibility to make a situation that you aren't stoked about. Interest rates, can't control them, but gives you the flexibility to fix it moving forward. The number to call, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or visit them online, millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. That's about going to do it for us here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Please subscribe to our YouTube, comment, like, pass it along to your friends. We'll be back tomorrow for a hump day version of the show. I'll be back on the network in like 4 hours. So I'll talk to you then. Until then, have a great night, everybody. Enjoy Prince.
The Adam Gold Show.
So I hear Bill Belichick's non-committal about a starting quarterback for the TCU game. First, that's on brand for Bill. He's not going to give you what you want to hear. He's going to play everything close to the vest. But let's be honest here. They brought Gio Lopez here for a reason. If he's not the quarterback on Labor Day, I think that's a problem. Max Johnson's nice, but he's not it. It's got to be Lopez.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95%